I'm here today to talk about the department's compliance with its production obligations under the Act. Around, I think right now, and continuing throughout the day-to-day, as the indexing and uploading completes, we are producing responsive materials under the Act. We are also releasing today a letter we are transmitting to Congress and various internal protocols associated with our review. I want to take a moment to thank the professionals at the Department of Justice who met twice daily, sometimes more, for the last 75 days to get to where we are today. The leadership teams from the Office of the Attorney General, from the Deputy Attorney General's Office, the Associate Attorney General's Office, the Criminal Division, the National Security Division, the FBI, the Southern District of Florida, the Southern District of New York, and the Northern District of New York all gave up many hours every single day on top of their other, of course, full-time obligations to fulfill the President Trump's promise of transparency to the American people. I also want to thank the more than 500 lawyers and professionals across all those divisions that I just mentioned and others who worked long days, nights, weekends, Christmas, New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, nights, weekends, and holidays to complete this production. These highly trained reviewers spend their careers putting bad guys in jail and effectuating the mission of the department. And to a person, they work tirelessly to protect victims and comply with the Act since its passage. So thank you to all of them. Today, we are producing more than 3 million pages, including more than 2,000 videos and 180,000 images. In total, that means that the department produced approximately 3.5 million pages in compliance with the Act. Just a quick note about the videos and images. The 2,000 videos and 180,000 images are not all videos and images taken by Mr. Epstein or someone around him. They include large quantities of commercial pornography and images that were seized from Epstein's devices, but which he did not take or that someone around him did not take. Some of the videos, though, and some of the images do appear to be taken by Mr. Epstein or by others around him. Now, I want to talk for a few minutes about the department's document identification and review protocols. It consisted of multiple layers of review and quality control designed to ensure compliance under the Act and protect victims. On top of the review protocols that the department had in place, the United States Attorney's Office for the Southern District of New York employed an additional review protocol to ensure compliance with a court order requiring United States Attorney Jay Clayton to certify that with respect to certain materials, a large quantity of the materials, a rigorous process was undertaken to protect victims against any clearly unwarranted invasion of their personal privacy. The department's collection effort resulted in more than 6 million pages being identified as potentially responsive, including department and FBI emails, interview summaries, images, videos, and various other materials collected and generated during the various investigations and prosecutions that the Act covered. We erred on the side of over-collection of materials from various sources to best ensure maximum transparency and compliance, which necessarily means that the number of responsive pages is significantly smaller than the total number of pages initially collected. That's why I mentioned a moment ago, we're releasing more than 3 million pages today and not the 6 million pages that we collected.
Imagine being able to build an app with your name on it, just by thinking about it. Meet Base 44, a complete AI creation platform.
I want to address what we didn't produce. The categories of documents withheld include those permitted under the Act to be withheld, files that contain personally identifiable information of victims or victims' personal and medical files, and similar files, the disclosure of which would constitute a clearly unwarranted invasion of personal privacy. Any depiction of CSAM or child pornography was obviously excluded. Anything that would jeopardize an active federal investigation. And finally, anything that depicts or contain images of death, physical abuse, or injury, also not produced. Although the act allows for withholding for items necessary to keep secret in the interest of national security or foreign policy, no files are being withheld or redacted on that basis. Further, as we previously stated in our December 19th letter of last year, the department withheld or redacted files covered by various privileges, as we always do, including deliberative process privilege, work product privilege, and attorney-client privilege. As you all know, under the Act, the department must subsequently submit to the House and Senate committees on the judiciary a report listing all categories of records released and withheld, a summary of redactions made, including the legal basis for such redactions, and a list of all government officials and politically exposed persons named or referenced in the Act. We will do so in due course as required under the Act. I want to talk for just a moment about the redactions that will be obvious to anyone who reviews the materials that we just produced today. In addition to the documentary redactions, which includes personal identifying information, victim information, and other privileges, there is extensive redactions to images and videos. To protect victims, we redacted every woman depicted in any image or video, with the exception of Ms. Maxwell. We did not redact images of any men, unless it was impossible to redact the woman without also redacting the man. To this end, though, and to ensure transparency, if any member of Congress wishes to review any portions of the responsive production in any unredacted form, they're welcome to make arrangements with the department to do so, and we're happy to do that. I want to talk for a minute about something that is important. Every single day of the year, the Department of Justice investigates and prosecutes those who abuse and traffic young women and children. Just last year, the FBI located over 2,700 victims of child exploitation. The Department of Justice found and terminated 3.8 million dark web pedophile accounts. In August, we charged 11 defendants for extensive sex trafficking in Los Angeles of illegal immigrants and underage women. Last month, we charged 5 men who were engaged in a sadistic sextortion network of deranged young men abusing women. Over the past several months, last summer and into the fall, we executed Operation Restore Justice, rescuing 205 child victims and arresting 293 offenders. I point this out because I take umbrage at the suggestion, which is totally false, that the Attorney General or this department does not take child exploitation or sex trafficking seriously, or that we somehow do not want to protect victims. We do. There are some select members of Congress and some in the public eye, including those most critical of our efforts at full transparency under the Act, who remain silent as to all the work that we have done and continue to do every day in this space, while quickly pointing a finger at the Attorney General or this department because we were careful in our review of millions of pages of documents over the past 2 months. The Attorney General, the Director of the FBI, and our partners throughout this administration work hard every single day to protect the most vulnerable among us. With the production of this magnitude, mistakes are inevitable. We, of course, want to immediately correct any redaction errors that our team may have made, and so the department has established an email inbox for victims to reach us directly to correct redactions and any concerns when appropriate. That's been in existence since December, and we've been doing that since then. Finally, a very small portion of the documents collected pursuant to the Act include materials that a law firm produced to the SDNY in 2019 pursuant to a grand jury subpoena. This was during the criminal investigation of Ms. Maxwell. We determined it would be prudent to seek an order from the court in the Southern District of New York seeking production of these materials subject to the protective order in that civil lawsuit. To that end, the department has filed that motion with the appropriate judge in the SDNY, and if that motion is granted, we'll release those materials with appropriate redactions immediately. Today's release marks the end of a very comprehensive document identification and review process to ensure transparency to the American people and compliance with the Act. The department has engaged in an unprecedented and extensive effort to do so. After submitting the final report to Congress as required under the Act and publishing the written justifications for redactions in the Federal Register, the department's obligations under the Act will be completed.
My wife said, if you win, we'll fly to Asia.
Okay, good evening and good day wherever you are. My name is Chimezie. This is a very unscheduled show for tonight, intentionally done because we want to appease some people who wanted to bring up a conversation. So, in particular, I'm referencing I Speak the Truth. If you're available, I will wait for you. I intentionally set up this so that you can see that there was nothing hidden or intended to stop you from sharing your views on the Epstein files, because you kind of felt that every time the name Trump comes up, you were shut down or there was an effort to evade having a conversation. There is no such intention. So I'm going to wait for you, and for as many as would like to come in and let's have a conversation, a civil conversation on this file. It's an evolving news. The files were released sometime yesterday by the State Department, and that's why I intentionally played that video first as a salvo to help us get context as we discuss. So, I Speak the Truth. If you're available, I would love to have you come in, just like if he has, so that we can have this conversation. It's an evolving and, just upcoming news. It's not something new. We've been discussing this for quite some time now, but it's evolving. So, welcome. If you're the first person to show up, you watched the video. What's your take on it?
Honestly speaking, I'm not interested in that Epstein case, honestly speaking, because I don't know of what good is it going to do to what is happening. It's not going to get Trump out of power. So I don't even know why people are so fixated. We know what happened, mentioning Jay-Z's name, Elon Musk, Trump. Okay, so what? Where do we go from here? Honestly, that's the least of my problem. When people all make a comment and say that's a distraction, release Epstein file. Okay, they have released it. Now what?
No, but the thing is this. I hear you and I agree with you. But the thing is this. So before I make this comment, I've always been of the view that in every society there are kind of untouchables. Every society has that. It doesn't matter how civilized we think the US is, there will always be some news item or skirmishes or infractions. Sometimes that the law has a way of meandering its way through, but people feel that Iran bombing Nigeria, talking about Greenland, are distractions by the administration to take attention away from the release and effort to unveil what is in the Epstein's file. So now this file has been unveiled. We don't know the full content. They gathered 6 million pages worth of evidence, and they released 3 million yesterday. Okay. And they released about 2,000 footages as videos, and then I think 1,800 images. So I want people to come and tell me, if those who have read it, come and tell me what did you see there? Where do we go from here?
I did not. That's the same question I'm asking you. Of what use is that gonna be to what is happening? It's not gonna distract Trump, or it's not gonna stop Trump from doing whatever Trump wants to do. You know, if Trump can be president with it's a convicted felon, if you come to think about it, what made you think that Epstein's file is gonna that he really care about what you say about him?
Yeah, but if he's implicated in the file, doesn't it then now he's not?
So what? What's gonna happen? What's the next?
But there is a so in it, meaning he becomes unfit. They can impeach him based on that.
Then go ahead. Then that's where we are. They've been trying to impeach him for how long? They tried that in the first Trump 2001. It did not work. You think it's gonna work this time around? People are. Let me tell you now. At this point, people don't give a about what Trump does. They just want him to finish his 4 years and just get out of the office, because people are fed up. Because when you talk about impeachment, it's not going to work. Even if the Democrats, even if they take the House and the Senate, I don't see that happening. It would be very difficult. So you will see some Democrats that was going to support him. So, hey, listen, Trump knows how to play politics. Okay? And again, if Obama had done what Trump, what 100 of what Trump has done, he would have been gone a long time. So let us understand it and know that and know peace. The people backing Trump are the richest, are the wealthiest in the whole world. So you're not gonna do no. I don't care about that. All I care is for Trump to look at what is going on in the American economy, because a lot of things are not going on right. Look at the healthcare. Let me tell you something, Chim. I went to my doctor's because I'm having left shoulder. I think it was the way I slept for the past 4 weeks. My ordinary copay that used to be $20, $25, it's now $45. It's now double the pay. My premium is when I was like, holy cow. So a lot of people are without insurance. So that's the thing I want Trump to address. I don't care about what Trump does. Again, it's not gonna see. I think to me at this point it's a distraction. My only annoyance with Trump is that all these things he promised that he's gonna do when he comes to the office, he hasn't done them. The president,
like what exactly?
The economy. The economy is going. This is the worst I've seen this country since I've been in this country. I remember when I came here, when I got to grocery store, I'm like, wait a minute, hold on. I have to look at the receipt to make sure that I'm not being, cheated. But it is what it is. Things I told my friend Angie, I went to Sam's Club yesterday. The big powdered milk that used to be less than $20 is almost like $24. And every time you come back, you keep increasing by 50 cents. People are suffering. I'm not worried about who he lays with. It's none of my business. Okay? So, trust me, if there is any economic implication to what this file is going to do, then I can listen to you. But other than that, I don't want to hear that, period. I don't pay attention.
But some people are making it look like, so I hear you, I understand what you're saying, fair enough. And you're giving exactly what the average. Listen, I always tell people this. In any functional society where things are going well, a lot of the time after elections, people care less who's in office and care more about the implications of what the policy being made impacts their lives. Do you understand? And I'm with you on that. That's the same thing. As much as I might be pro-conservative, I don't deny that. But if the liberal person comes to office, there are jobs. My paycheck can take me through the month properly, and then I can save from it. Why do I care what your face looks like? Do you understand? But there are people who are unable to go past that. So there is always something for them every time. And that's one of the reasons why I said, okay, let's come and discuss this. Let me even hear what it is, because I don't know what the person has seen that I haven't seen yet. It's not as if because in this whole thing, there are usual suspects that have been mentioned. And I'm not going to mention anybody's name, but there are usual suspects that have been mentioned both on the Democratic side and on the Republican side who have had things to do with Epstein and all that.
Yeah.
We even have people from the British Isles who have stuff. So, but the report hasn't, it's going to be in the weeks down the line that we'll begin to start hearing full names of people who are in it. So, but I still believe it's something to discuss because it has a lot of implication. It just tells us what the rich and mighty do when they have the privilege to be able to get away with anything.
Let me tell you something, okay? I'm giving an example. If they name all the people, including Obama, let's say Michelle Obama's name is Anita, everybody, Bush's and his wife, again, so what's going to happen? Are you going to try them? The only thing we will talk 1 month, 2 months, we're going to forget about. Look, again, I'm worried about the average person on the street. Okay? They will be fine. These are the top rich people, or majority of the people that were mentioned in that file. Trust me, they are all millionaires, or maybe they are very comfortable. Let me use the word comfortable. They are very comfortable. So nothing is going to happen to their wealth. That's one thing for sure. They're not going to go to jail. That's one thing for sure. Again, what I am concerned about is that Trump ran this second tenure on the ground that the economy wasn't doing well. And that was the reason why a lot of people voted for him overwhelmingly. Still, Trump is not delivering. That is the frustration Americans people are having at this point. So my point is this. I don't care about Epstein's file. I'm not interested. I haven't even watched any video. I haven't even, unless if I see it on Instagram, that is the only social media I am on. I will look at it and just scroll and I keep going. I'm not interested. Just tell me how much bread is. Tell me, whether the price of eggs is going to come down, the milk, the jobs, the economy. That is all I care about, the healthcare. That is all I care about. That people will continue to, get the little incentives they get at work and all that stuff. The things that, Trump has taken away, immigration. That is what I care about. I don't want a situation, I'm an immigrant in this country, that, when I'm driving, I see a police. Look, do you see how bad it has gotten? The other day, police stopped me. I was going to work. And just by my subdivision, there is this light, and the guy in front of me is a long truck, came out and was like, come on. I didn't know that, the truck broke down. So I stood there, I waited and waited and waited, even the person behind me just went past me because I was waiting for the light to turn green. And I was going to work late. Boom. I left. I didn't see the police. The police went after me. Come and see me shivering. I was shivering not because of anything, but because I'm a Black woman. I'm shivering because I am an immigrant, not because I have committed any offense. That is the country we live in now. I don't know if you've seen where people say carry your passport or make a copy of your. I mean, what kind of life is that? That's where we are. These are the things I am worried about. I'm not worried about Epstein, honestly speaking. I never knew the man until they arrested him and he died in jail. That was when I started hearing about him.
But back to this economy thing you're mentioning. So I just quickly did a bit of search now, because you said the American economy is horrible. But this is what AI is telling me. It says the US economy enters 2026 showing robust, better than expected growth with a GDP expansion. It added 4.3% annual rate to Q3 being 2025. And this is driven by strong consumer spending, falling imports, and increasing investment, while the labor market remains relatively tight.
I'm not sure if that's the case. I'm honestly speaking, I'm not sure. AI it's not a human being.
But AI is not human, but these are things people feed into the internet.
Again, it depends on who you asking. I mean, KJ, I might have a different point of view.
So maybe let's ask him then. So KJ, we were here to discuss the Epstein's file, but if he says that's not her business, she's not interested in that. That what she's more interested in is that the man Trump should fulfill his campaign promises of fixing the economy. And if he says the American economy is not doing well, but she has mentioned healthcare, she has mentioned a couple of other things. So I did a little search because I didn't have anything prepared. I admit it's the internet; anybody can post anything there. But everything I have seen so far is saying that the American economy is doing well. So,
let me say something. Let me say something. Did you see the housing market? If you live in this country, people can barely afford housing. That's how bad it has gotten. Even to buy a home.
You mean rent or buying a home?
Even buying and renting. The cost of rent has skyrocketed. See, let me tell you something. Like I said, I mean, KJ might have a different view. But again, with what is going on in this country, this is not the country I used to know. That's the way I can say that.
Okay. So KJ, please, what do you think? Both, you can take it up from the economy and then go into Epstein, whatever it is. I'm waiting and hoping that.
Because that's why I came in. I don't have enough this thing to discuss the American economy. But I would simply say I thought that the guy who was I speak the truth was going to be here because he was the one saying he has so many facts. He has this, has that to show us. So everybody was looking forward to it, but here we go. He's not here. But what I will say about the Epstein file is that, well, over 3,000 documents. How do you even know? How do you get to read through it?
No, over 3 million.
Over 3 million. So how do we go from there? So we just have to believe on the journalists or the journalists who will go do that job, read through and summarize for all of us. For me, I tried not to, here's my challenge, Chim, and that's where I am. If you look at what's going on in America and then look at what is going on in Nigeria, I, as a Nigerian, don't have any moral right to discuss what's going on right now in America. Because our own even worse. Even the man will know that the man is a certificate forger. We allowed him to be there. And he has now forged everything in Nigeria. Everything has been forged. Everything is forged. The only thing they've not forged now is food. Who knows why they're going to forge rice and forge everything. So even now, I find it a bit difficult to now say, okay, even these people are getting, at least some things are working for Americans. At least they have security. Nobody's going to, run you out of town. Okay? But in our own, we don't even have security. We don't have nothing. The schools are not functional. The other day I saw a lady complaining. She had graduated from University of is it Benin or which university? Calabar, University of Calabar. Till this moment, 4 years later, they've refused to give her her certificate.
Why?
Yes, I don't. There's no reason. Every requirement has been completed. And I can understand because just sincerely sitting here, I paid 5 years ago to get my transcript from my old school. Me, when I did the university, I was one of those people where even the VC know I was not just a student. I was, a super student. Okay, everybody knew me. In fact, when I got into the place to ask my transcript, the people stood up because they know me. They were all, lecturers' children at that time. Children. I mean, when I say children, 10 years. And till today, 5 years down the line, haven't paid money, giving them money to wash their hands because they say, "Oh God, we wash our hands for us." I gave them money to wash their hands, gave them money to even do all they needed to do. I still don't have it. So we are dealing with a place where no matter what you do, the system just refuses to change. Then who am I? The system refuses to change. You were here today. Somebody is arguing that whatever Soludo say is correct. But you live in a society where even if the government do something, you go to court and take the government. You're not afraid. You go and stand, and then lawyers will come and defend you and say, "Yeah, government, you are wrong." And then you get judgment in your favor. And you say that the governor of a state can go to the market and tell everybody that, look, if you don't resume by next week, in fact, if you're not careful, I'll bring bulldozers out and bulldoze everywhere down. And then we are all clapping for him. And some people can come and defend it. Even Oti, who is a lawyer, can come and defend that statement. Because you think you have position, Abi, and you think you're going to remain there forever. I don't think those people look behind to see. I mean, why? If you, for those of them who are talking, if you even want to tell me that Soludo is doing that on moral grounds, let's look at his family. Is he a very successful father in the case, as the case may be? So don't throw stone in a glass house. That's what those reggae musicians used to sing those days. So we see Anambra all of a sudden becoming a place. We are, anything goes. You just talk to. Since when have Igbo started talking to people anyhow? Since when did you come to a point where we are called Ohaneze? That's what we're saying now, Ohaneze. You call Ohaneze and you talk to them anyhow. Is that our custom? Is that our tradition? You can stand as a. This don't happen. No. Just imagine they call the whole Ohaneze, okay, and then one man, because the professor come out, can't tell and say, I'm telling you, I'm giving you so and so, I will do this. It doesn't happen. It doesn't happen in Igbo land. But you see, when they have gone to get their check from their paymaster, they think they can do anything and say anything and get away with it. Majority of them are afraid of Nnamdi Kanu. We know that. We know that una dey fear Nnamdi Kanu. And so you do everything possible to keep him there, because you know that when he comes out tomorrow and say, if he is going to be governor of Anambra State, that's it. That is what people are afraid of. And you are not afraid because he holds any age like above you. You are afraid because you don't want to do the right thing. Because if you do the right thing, he will come out and be irrelevant. Like as it is now in Abia State. I think our uncle, you and I, know our uncle now. So both of them are our uncle. They are our people. But the Abia people have now said, both yourself and your brother, you're not going back to the house, and they are going to fight for that. And I support it 100 times. If you see me sitting here, if I have a telephone call with Alex Oti, I'm going to tell him, if he needs you to use 1 month of Abia State money to run that election and run them out, do it. I'm serious. Because these people, when they finish eating, they begin to behave as if there's nobody ever existed again. And Odius Okalu forget that a man we slapped in Germany is now in prison in London. Who knows? His own maybe in Australia. When you go to the prison, he Odius Okalu.
So, but this is what I want to bring in here, because you brought that out. Because I also see people comparing Trump with Tinubu.
Don't go there, Chim.
Hold on. Hear me out now.
Chim, don't even start. There is no comparison.
Hear me
Nothing
out.
to compare. Okay.
Wait now.
Okay, sorry.
I'm telling you, people are making those comparisons.
Okay.
People are saying things like, why is it that when Trump does this? And I told someone, I said, Trump is leading in a society that has functional systems. In other words, if he overreaches and they genuinely want to take him out, the system can take him out. But here we have a president who, at least, okay, look at this Epstein file. Even if his name is there, he has no choice. He could not stop it. He got released. Right? Whether there will be a prosecution afterwards or plea bargains is a different issue altogether. But we have a president who sent a bill, a tax bill, to the National Assembly. The National Assembly passed one and handed back to him. And the one that has been signed into law is not what the National Assembly passed, which means it's been doctored, and that's an offense. Has the man been held guilty or held accountable for it? The answer is no. So that's the comparison.
Chim, this is not even a discussion. This is not even a comparison. We have a president, me and you, all of us here, we don't even know our president's age. He told us that he is 73. I lost an uncle that just passed on Tuesday. He died at the age of 90. If you see my uncle, he lived well. In fact, he looks younger than Tinubu. And I'm like, what are you talking about? He lived well. You wouldn't even know that he is 90.
If you
hold on, Chim, hold on.
You will continue. I want to throw in this. But somebody can be sickly and be a young person and look.
Then step out or step down. Please leave the power. It's not your father's property. In order for you to be the president of 200 and something million, you have to be healthy. Why do you want to grab power by fire or by force? Let me tell you something. You know, when people come here and say Tinubu is the master strategy, he is the Jagaban of this, I'm like, you people are stupid. Let me tell you, if I were Tinubu, if Tinubu is the master strategy, let me tell you what he could have done. He could have used every strength and every might that he has and do something for Nigerians this first tenure. Then second tenure would be like, okay, let him hurry up and get up and get out of power, right? But he did not do that. If Tinubu had worked for us, he won't be going around asking people to join APC. We Nigeria will vote for him. But the reason why he's doing all these shenanigans that he's doing is because he did not achieve anything. He hasn't done anything for the citizens. We don't even know whether Tinubu is a male or female. All the things he lied to us about. I mean, come on now. How are you even gonna say Trump and Tinubu? Please, let's Trump not hear this thing. I beg. I beg. In a country where I live, where I currently am, it's almost 9:30. I can get up at 12 a.m. and go to work. I'm not worried. You can get up 2 a.m. My friend, they just went on waykeeping. They will be there 2 a.m., 3 a.m., and everybody will go home. You're not worried about security. If anything happens, you know the number to dial. But it's not so in my country. You know, you can't even talk to, here you can question police. You can't do that in Nigeria. You will collect slap. I don't know if you saw the video of that young girl. They asked what she wants to be when she grew up. Did anybody see that video?
Yeah.
Can you imagine? Can you just imagine? Because they're collecting 10 naira and all that. That is the only thing she knows. Come on. But we live in a world that when you see police officers, you admire them, you respect them. Mm-hmm. I live in a country where I can, directly call this number, let my complaint or what my problem is, and it will be taken care of. Can you do that in Nigeria? Of course, no. What's this governor? Is it what's this governor that is chasing this girl that criticized him? Is it what's his name? No, not Makinde, the other one. I can't think of his name.
Which is it Southeast or where?
No, Southwest is the Yoruba that is very arrogant. Oh my goodness. The one that was away. Where did Anthony Joshua had an accident?
Ogun State.
Ogun State governor. And this lady that is an activist criticized him. Now you're suing the girl to court. Are you kidding me? They want to arrest the woman just because she criticized the governor. What did she say? That there is no ambulance. Is there any ambulance? If anything happens to you in Nigeria, can you call an ambulance? No, you cannot. Can you call police? So why would you even bring this topic? It's not comparison. Yeah. You live in a country that is the best country in the whole world. There is no difference between Canada and America. Anyway, forget about it, just the name. It's the same thing. You have everything that you need. Imagine if we have winter in Nigeria. Do you know people will be buying like cocoa, like boom, 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 boom. And look at what your minister said today. So electricity is a luxury. That's all he's saying. So in order for me to enjoy electricity, when I'm leaving in the morning, I will turn my refrigerator off. I'm going to turn my AC off. I'm going to turn my lights off, everything off. Then when you come back, then you turn it back on. You see the people you have in power. Will any sensible person in your country where you live make that kind of statement? Or even here, Uncle KJ in Maryland, will any of your politicians make that kind of statement? And she told me that, they lost power. And they told them they're going to bring it at 8:30. She was calling me. I know that they brought the power. Can that happen in Nigeria? No. So why are you even going to compare that? It's nothing to write home about. You're telling us that you have distributed 5,000 naira. I'm very realistic. If Tinubu can live on 5,000 naira, I don't have no problem. Then we will tell you that he has done well. But if he cannot live on 5,000 naira, please stop disrespecting your citizens. Stop disrespecting them. All your politicians, none of their key schools in Nigeria, they all go London. London is their capital. But how many of American politicians, they all go to school here. If they go to school abroad, they just want to go, not because you don't have the best schools here. They have the best schools. You have incentives, you get student loan, you have grants for you to go to school here. Do you have that in your country? Nope. Maybe KJ, at the time you went to school, maybe you enjoyed a little part of that money. I did not. My dad paid for everything, right from the elementary school, nursery school, and all that. University.
It's the same thing. I haven't had anything free being in Nigeria. No. I went to private school.
Okay.
I paid.
Okay.
Let me just quickly play this little baby that you were talking about.
Yeah. What did you say you want to become?
Police.
And as a police, what do you do?
Block the road and collect money from Keke.
Jesus. Are you sure?
I'll play it one more time so that it will sink in for anybody who is watching.
Baby, yeah. What did you say you want to become?
Police.
And as a police, what do you do?
Block the road and collect money from Keke.
Jesus. Are you sure?
So you can.
I'm ashamed.
When I saw that video for the first time, I was like, no, this cannot be. Where did this girl get that kind of? That girl is not to 6 years old, is she? Or she probably.
That's what she knows. That is the Nigeria she knows. You can't tell her otherwise. Okay? You can't tell her otherwise. And that is the mindset we have until whenever, maybe if she has an opportunity to travel outside the country and see how things are done differently, be like, oh my God. But if not, this is the memory she will have the rest of her life. And you are comparing Trump and Tinubu.
So that is our future. Even though I've stopped believing that the future belongs to the young in Nigeria. It doesn't. The future belongs to the old. The more you get older, the more the future belongs to you. And that's how they've kept, think about it now. In primary school, I read Adamu Chiroma as Federal Commissioner for Finance. I read that in secondary school. I read it in my university. I met him as a person. There's a great Adamu Chiroma that I was reading about when I was like 11 years old.
Mm-hmm.
He was still in government till I finished university, served in NYSC, met him, as a journalist. I met him again. And this time, he was not only tired, he was on a wheelchair, but he was still in government.
Yeah, he was Minister of Finance in wheelchair.
Yes. So I asked them, the day I saw him, I almost ran away because he was looking like a ghost. And I asked my colleagues, is this the only man who knows finance in this world, in Nigeria, that has to be on this position, being wheeled around on this? You can see that this man is rest. That is the country we are in. And you tell me I should come and sit and begin to criticize the people who are the leading economy in the world. Their economy is the leading. They are still leading, despite every stride that China have made. America stands way off, way far off. And then look, the truth remains. What America have achieved. If I was the Nigerian president, what I will do is send my people to come and study how we can improve, and we can do that and be able to give a better life to our people. Not that you are now. You know that from now on, when you send money to Nigeria, it will be taxed. When those your relatives, for instance, if you send the money to your relatives, say, okay, distribute this money to your five of your other relatives. Each person will be taxed as soon as the money gets to their hand. In other words, if you send the money to 10 people, out of that money, you pay tax. The person who collects will pay tax. The 10 people, other 9 people they will send it to, will equally pay tax. No be thief be that. No be thief.
You haven't provided anything for them.
Have you ever seen a country that does that and there's a portion in the Bible, the cows of Basher, that's what it's called. Okay? It was Amos that was talking to the leadership of that time. He said, you think you can rob the people. You sell your products with, corrupt, inflated, moodles and all that. And wait. and then you think after that you will make progress. Okay, you enjoy seeing the masses, the poor of the poor, suffering,
And you
think,
sell the poor for a shoelace.
yes, you sell the poor for just a shoelace. You sell them. What else? Do we need to be prophets now and apostles to know that we have reached that point? Okay, and then you are comparing Nigeria with South Africa economy. South Africa have social network. Do you have anyone? Do you have anyone?
On electricity, you're even taking it far. Come on, electricity.
Just 2 days ago, Nigeria was generating 39 megawatts. 39.
Yeah?
39. Just 39. In fact, Abia State Governor had to even boast with it. Say, people say, they say I was on national grid. Now that the national grid is down, we are still having light.
Can you imagine?
So look at where we are. I keep asking this question: is electricity a new technology? Is it rocket science? People say you can, no matter what you do, you cannot achieve it. What do you mean you can achieve it? What do you mean you can achieve it? Okay, if you cannot achieve it, why not employ the same strategy that Babangida and Abacha employed? Get generators, mount generators everywhere. Okay, generate day and night. While you are doing that, you are now building what you need to build. Look, let's be factual. The people like it the way it is, because as long as the people remain ignorant, nobody will challenge the status quo. I think now that they see I'm now Igbo land with the talk I'm saying, when I say Igbo Eze now, because Umahi is the Eze of who is the other person? Oji Zokalo is trying to be Eze now in Abia because one another government, you know. One year on a government, okay. Who is the other guy? Who is the other one? Who's the madman of Cross River, River State? His son is also Wike is now Eze in the River State. Okay, who can tell a sitting governor who I've always said the man is Akamu on this program. When Wike was in government, Rotimi Amechi wanted to use the stadium. Wike insisted. In fact, they even carry sand, go put everywhere, block the gate. They couldn't use that. You are in government. You saw when this thing happened. They play like it's either you want to fight or you don't want to fight. If you don't want to fight, just keep quiet, complete your years and move away. If you want to fight, then bring out your chest and fight the fight very well. You're a sitting governor. Somebody came to your state and say you should have not opened that stadium. You see what they will do. They will get it. In the first place, I will run out of that nation, out of that state. If I need to use all the money to run you, I'll run you out. The next time you come there, I will give you conditions. We have seen it before now. We have seen it, so it's not a new thing. But you are just there sitting and they're look. A friend of mine said, "Gone are the days that Christianity used to be. If you slap me this side, I turn this side." That day don't go. We are now the days of Hosea. You take your Bible in your right hand, you hold your javelin or your sword on the other. Any person try you first strike him before you show him the passage where there for the Bible. Look, I once had an interview with the Israeli ambassador who called the nation the country, and the guy told us, "You see why Israel survived? Israel doesn't wait for anybody. If you hit them once, they will hit you 2 times harder, so that as you are feeling the pain, say this way, no be way to go again."
It's called deterrence.
Yeah, they said they will never. I said, use the word never succumb to make you say go discuss for peace. No, if you mistakenly hit Israel, Israel will hit you harder. And he told us, if you need to see this guy, he said he was a colonel before in the army. He said, as you see me as I'm sitting in this my house, I know the places where Adnan Akalono, where the Adnan Akalono in this his house. And as I was seeing him, I keep the Akalono now. Only one move when you go make, you get like 5 of them to take response. So if we live like that, all this nonsense will have stopped. I'm telling you the truth. If we live like that, people will not take us for granted. But we say no, we are Christians and we are gentle people, and there's a time for gentility and there's a time to show that yourself. And there was an where Dan Iska. Me too, I be Dan Iska. If you tell me Shege, I'll tell you say Shege Barao. So, but I'm telling you, because if you leave madness to one person, after a while, you go contact another guy. You know, and you see, that's why I like this guy who came today, and that's the life of the two people. I tell the two people that they have many
No, but
similarities.
AJ I hope what's his name showed up because he's from the same state with him.
Oh no, John Abba didn't show up. I thought he was going to show up, but he didn't show up. And Frank Uto has been on this business. You know, I was on this channel that I went to David Mark's listen to do the story of David Mark's village when it was striked.
Mm-hmm.
And we even had to run for our life because the remaining Fulanis wanted to take us for Suya. You know?
Really?
Oh yeah, that story for another day. You know, But that is these people. The T people said, look, if we leave these people, they'll wipe us all off. They wipe us out. So now they are also fighting back. And let me even say this on this channel. They've gone now to start a thief television house. So you don't want to carry their news, they will carry their news themselves. Okay? So if people will say, oh, government has given you instruction not to carry the genocide going on in Nigeria, okay, until government say this is happening, you be a mouthpiece of government. People now are going to be broadcasting their own issues on their own radio. It's going to be a thief radio station. Television station is almost ready to take off. Okay, and so people like Frank Uto has been, in the epicenter of what is going on. Everywhere you were talking about, I know those places, and I know how they used to be. The way most painful part, Chim, is that his community is a place where any time of the year you get to that Kadroko, you must see yam. You must see yam that will full maybe more than 10 trailers. They are always there on the road, whether day or night. In fact, if you get there at 2 a.m., all you need to do is just stop in one of the locations or one of the shops. The people will come out and sell yam for you. Everybody knows, Kadroko, Bajimba, and all those places. These are the major farming settlements or towns in Benue. And government is keeping quiet. These people are being wiped off. And then tomorrow you say there's food shortage in Nigeria. The other place they're also trying to wipe off is a place called I forgot the name. My friend comes from there. She used to be representative of that locality. Okay. Now they are also wiping them. This one now is the biggest yam market in Benue. Trailers come from Lagos to come and buy yam and load in those places. Biggest yam market. They've chased almost everybody away from that place. And then, if the government can't even act on these things, what will government act on? And then Soludo is coming to go and worry traders. They're not asking for anything. They're not asking for electricity. Do road for them. No pipeline water. No, that any of those things are available. Nothing. Why is that, Chim? Only your people, they show power for their people place.
Well, it's not so. Okay, so here's my take on. Did you ever read? Where is that book? I think I have it somewhere here. Hold, just give me a second. It's called The Accidental Aha.
RFI book.
Yes.
I've not read it, but I've had the story.
Look at it. I read it. I read this book as thick as it is, from cover to cover. From cover to cover. It's not what there are books I read halfway and I left. I finished this book. There was a reason why I finished it, because at the time when he published this book, he was running away from Yaradua. When Yaradua came into office, Yaradua went after him and the current National Security Advisor, Nuhu. Yaradua went after both of them. I still don't know. Then we were like, why is Yaradua going after these people who worked with Obasanjo? That the title of the book is The Accidental Public Servant. In this book, this man extracted 3 people. He talked about the key people who worked under Obasanjo as ministers and managed one or two portfolios. He talked about Okonjo-Iweala. He talked about Madam Obiose Ekwesili. He spoke about himself. Then he spoke about Charles Soludo. He made, when I'm saying poignant statements about each of them, he talked about their disagreements in meetings. How he said that Obasanjo is one president that loves being challenged at executive meetings, that forget about his military listing, that he likes challenges. He likes poking ideas and all that. That sometimes he will disagree with you, and to see to what extent you believe in the view you're pushing. If he sees that you believe in that, that's why he knows that this thing you're saying is a good thing, then he will give it and say, are you sure we can implement this? You tell him, and say, go ahead. He will give you the permission. This guy spoke about the disagreement between Okonjo-Iweala and this Charles Soludo is inside this book. Inside this book. He wasn't hiding names, he was mentioning what caused the quarrel. I read it. So when Soludo ran for governor and I watched that debate, I told someone, I said, this guy is intelligent. He's an intellectual. I said, but he's going to have a problem. Someone said, I said, he's going to look down on Anambra people. I said, how? I said he has this messianic behavior and is beginning to show. Go into office. You were originally a PDP person. But when you realize that PDP can't take you to office in Anambra State, you switch to ABGA. And all the governors have been ABGA. Why don't you go there, do your own bit, and go away? Why is it every day you're trying to diminish your predecessor who went before you? Every day you're trying to diminish him. Every day you want to diminish him. So that's when I went back to this book to see one of the things he said. I said, no, okay. This guy, listen, I made that statement again. The man is like somebody who didn't believe he would get to where he got to. He gets there and suddenly feels he has arrived. That's what Charles Soludo is doing. That's what he's doing. Somebody who said, why must it always be so and so person's name only? What about me? Is inside this book. And what about me he meant was, why is it always that when there's an economic progress, you say it's Okonjo-Iweala? Every time there's an economic progress, it says Okonjo-Iweala. Am I not around? Am I not doing some economic things? Kid, I'm not kidding you. It's inside this book. It's written inside this book, word for word. So anybody who, that is why I knew, when I said what I made earlier, people were like, you don't even know where I'm coming from. The guy feels that he's very entitled. Yes, he's a professor here, he's educated and everything, but he needs to slow down. Just serve the people and go away. At the end of it, nobody's going to remember you for being your professor or whatever. They're going to remember you for what did you do in Anambra State. So it's easy now when you're in office for people to say you're doing well, but it's actually when you leave that office, that's when your scorecard actually gets really red. So unfortunately, I Speak the Truth didn't show up. I don't think I want to stay too long, unless you guys have something else you want us to talk. Let's say it quickly and then we can go.
Unfortunately, like you said, Chim, he didn't show up. And that was why I was hesitant in trying to set it up, because I know that they will say that way. And then when you set it up, they don't show up because they know that basically people are going to come for them and people will be more ready to discuss that issue. He said he has a file on the subject. I don't know why he didn't come.
Why does he have an FBI State Department just released this thing yesterday? Listen, I listened to that video from beginning to end. This is the third time, and I intentionally played it first before I even gave my monologue. The man said they gathered 6 million worth of pages. They produced 6 million worth of pages of document on this Epson. And as at yesterday, they released slightly over 3 million of those documents. 2,000 of everything they released were videos of events and stuff that was happening, things that Epstein took himself, or Maxine, that lady. And then they had 1,800 worth of images. So please, when did I Speak the Truth sit down to digest all of this? That he already knows whose names is it. You know,
I understand you. I understand you.
listen, people make it look like, listen, I'm not a Trump makes mistake, I will say it.
Yeah.
People make it look like you, oh, Trump. No. The point remains, he is in a system where he cannot stop stuff like this from happening. So celebrate it. For the fact that he, for instance, can come and say, oh, he has stuff. These are the same people who, when you mention Nigeria, they love Nigeria more than you. And I'm wondering, what are you talking about? You live in a society that is functional. You live in a society that is functional. Things are working. How many times since Trump came to office has Trump traveled out of the country?
How many times? I stayed for weeks, months. Eh? How many times? And the moment you are landing, the next time you are going.
Yeah.
You know. The last one he stayed away, he came and stayed on less than 1 week, and he was back to Turkey. Only to go and fall down. And people say anybody can fall down. Anybody can fall down, yes, but it's not at the time that you're expected to behave that you fall down. You're falling down because you are overstressing the system. You know, a man of his age cannot stand that rigor of that, jet lag. It takes more than 72 hours for you to catch up, so you recover yourself. But they want to cover all that because they don't want Nigeria to progress. And that's why they keep bringing backward people who keep making all kinds of stupid excuses for whatever insufficiency they have.
Let me just say this. Someone once said to me, and I've taken time to look at it. Someone said that we should look at it, whether it had to do with being a Christian or, or Bible, whatever. He said, go and look at it. It says, the prevalent spirit, and when he means spirit, he means the behavior in any society at any given point in time, is the spirit of the man who is
on the top. Yes, I agree.
Look at today, Nigeria. Everything about Nigeria is lie. First
yes.
lie, falsify. But look
Chim,
at that is the
are you not surprised that they forged gazetted government documents?
That is the signature
and
of
the National Assembly treated as is nothing. It's nothing. I'm telling you, they just covered everything up. They have been doing some extraordinary spending. They cover up. El-Rufai said Tinubu have been withdrawing 1 trillion naira every month from NNPC since he got into office. Nobody had talked about it. The only thing Nigerian security system understands is IPOB and Eastern Security Network. Once it has to do with Igbo man, everybody, guns are blazing. They will rush to the east, And now we see what, Chim, one of my biggest worry with Soludo is that Soludo gives the federal or whatever people that his interest lies the opportunity to keep hammering the Southeast. Remember when he came to the US and said 99.9999% of those who are being caught in kidnapping and all these things are Igbos. But he has yet to show us any example. Are they not catching people? Why are they not displaying people?
What did you tell him in that? I won't stay in that kind of meeting with him.
No. I wasn't in that meeting. Normally what they do, Chim, is that they bring their psychophants to sit with them. They won't allow you to go there.
Okay, I was not going to say this. Let me say this. In 20, I came to office in 2007. 2007.
Yes.
There is a meeting called Aka Ikenga. I don't know if you know that meeting.
I know Aka Ikenga.
I attended that meeting twice. Once, I attended that meeting in the home of a man called Stan Leo. I think Stan Leo Eke. Is that his name? Is it no Stan Leo? The guy who owns Zenok Computers.
Zenok Computer. Okay, I don't know. I can't remember his name, but I know him.
Okay. In that meeting, Charles Soludo came for that meeting. This meeting was held in Ikoyi on Bodilon, a few houses away from Tinubu's house. Fashola had just become governor. The Yar'Adua had become president. That was shortly before they removed Soludo. I still remember when he came into that meeting, when he was introduced, his first statement was, "Ono mana meeting now, mbako, umunne." He begged everybody not to record anything he was going to say or to video him. I'm not kidding you. He wanted it to be privileged information he was providing for Igbo people. When I look at the kind of things he said then and compare what he's doing now, the guy is a snake. He's a huge snake. And these are people who, they come in the midst of brethren, say one thing, but when they go out on the political terrain, they do a totally different thing altogether.
Yeah, you're correct, Jim. Remember that before he became governor, he was the one agitating for IPOB.
Yes.
He went to a conference and spoke about it extensively, and why there cannot be any settlement except these things agitations are looked into, because they are genuine at that time. Remember, before he became governor, he went to visit Nnamdi Kanu in Kuje prison. Sorry, in DSS dungeon.
Yeah.
And took pictures and came back and said Nnamdi Kanu have approved his candidacy, and said so many things that Nnamdi Kanu said. And as soon as he gets in, he's going to now make moves to make sure that this thing. What has he done? And then some people come and sit here and they want to tell us, look, whether we like it or not. And I have a lot of respect for Dani Wayanwu. Dani Wayanwu used to be the chairman of not Dan Iwayanwu, not Mr. not Emmanuel Iwayanwu.
Dan Wanyawu.
Yes, Dan Iwayanwu, the one that wears the akabo hat.
He used to be Zenith Labour Party chairman.
Thank you. I have a lot of respect for him, because even on national TV, I said it not one, not twice, not 3 times. He said, "Look, let me tell you, anybody who tells us an Igbo leader now beyond Mandana the Kanu is a waste of time."
Yeah.
He said, "What they as politicians can do with their money to organize that, no politician will even get a crowd, with the money to get the kind of crowd Nnamdi Kanu gets." And so, if anybody tells you that Nnamdi Kanu does not matter, the person is making a mistake. This is a politician who has contested for presidency in Nigeria, but he can be able to, and he says it very truly, straight and forward. I will tell you that Nnamdi Kanu have committed no crime. I say it to you and I say it again. I've said it. But if people want to kill him and bring him to the stadium so all of us can cut part of his body and go away so that people can be right. Yes, that's what he said. He told them. So, but you see, people like Soludo can never, because they are hoping. You see, all of Soludo's this thing is for his own selfish interest. He's seen that if Igbos go with Peter Obi, he will never have opportunity of contesting. So consequently, whatever he's doing now is to make sure that he creates a space for him so that the North can accept him, okay? And it doesn't matter whether he was to accept or not, but he's more interested in satisfying the North, okay? So that then he can know how to manage the Igbos. The truth of the matter is that he will never get there. This governorship, is going to be last.
But that's what all of them are doing. Whether it is...
Yeah, but you don't have to sell us. You don't have to sell the people of Indian number. You don't have to... You don't have to paint them in a terrible state as you are trying to do now, to make it look as if they are, look, the truth remains, just like Kenneth said. I don't know anything about the history of the market, but those who know have spoken about it. The market does not belong to you as a government, and you have no right to say you mow it down because the people are refusing to leave their houses on a Monday. So the question that you have here is these 2 questions or 3 questions that we have. If I was him, I would ask them, do you want us to shift our official working days to Saturday? That's one option I have on the table. 2, if Saturday will not work, what can we do to get people back to the market? I have this option. 1, I will provide enough security every Monday for everybody who is going to come from wherever you're going to come. I will flood police in everywhere in Onitsha so that people can come out, go to market, come back. 3, you can say, okay, let us go in depth. Let us go down and find out those people who are behind this sit at home. Since IPOB said they are not the one calling for the sit at home every Monday, you can do that. You get information. There are CIDs and the DSS and all that, police, military, intelligence, you can dig out. But what you want to do, which is what is paining me, is to now give another opportunity to the federal government to begin to send Atari Dakubo and his boys to the Anambra State to go and now start again buying afresh young people, because you say it is IPOB you are looking for. You say it is Eastern Security Network you are looking for. What kind of leaders do we have? Gumi comes out and tells you that the terrorists terrorizing Nigerians are their children. You cannot do anything to them. You can't drive them away. You can't do anything to them. You can't kill them. You can't put them in prison. They are here to stay with us. You take it or you leave it. You don't know what he said? Have the federal government taken him on that?
Take what? That guy has said all manner of things and has gotten away with them.
Chim, I have a video that I saw on the internet 2 days ago, and I concluded, I just posted it on my Facebook page. I said, if you have been thinking that Nigeria is not finished, by this video, you know that Nigeria is done. An army officer, I think of the rank of one of the rednecks, came, stood up, greeted the emir, the chiefs around there, they are emirs, and then knelt down or squatted down and greeted Gumi. To Gumi, who now extended. He had to wait for Gumi to extend his hand before he could shake him. But other people, he just put his hand, they shook him. But for Gumi, he had to wait until Gumi extended his hand, then he now shook Gumi. And was still there kneeling, before greeting, and then waved to the other people and left. My brother, we're talking about the man who has the authority of the Nigerian power in this uniform, in his full regalia. Okay? You do know that, I told someone that some of us get small brushes with the army. There are certain things you don't do. Yeah. Army man may be respecting you, but in fact, let me give you a clear example.
I lived in the barracks for 3 years.
Let me tell you something that happened. When we were in. By the way, the guy who came to speak today, his village is opposite 31 Airborne Brigade in Makurdi. So you can imagine that this is going on just close to his village, and there's a airborne. They know they respond. Okay, in that Airborne Brigade, one day, a colonel's wife go slap one, what they call her, captain. Okay, because of the difference of water, he said, there was a clash, and he slapped the guy. So the guy slapped him 2 times, beat him well. Then she went home, reported to her husband, who is a colonel, and we all say, today we will see what you have for this barrack. The colonel came and met the guy, say, are you the one? I say, come on, you shake him, well done. If you didn't do that, I would have sent you to the guard room. Go home and dress and come for parade. That is the army we used to have. They don't care. He tell you are in your uniform, he slap you. He say, what did you do? He say, I slapped her very well. He said, good, shake me. Go home and get ready and come meet me at the parade ground. He was ready to go to the guard room. So, but now you have almost a colonel. I mean, I think it's a major general bending down to shake Gumi. We are finished. I'm telling you. Anybody who still think we have a nation is wasting his time. We are finished. Okay? Let me leave you if you want to say something.
I hate to say this.
And then we'll round up and go, please. I want to go and sleep.
Yeah, but honestly speaking, I hate to say this, but that's where we are at this point. I think it's high time we start, we keep mount the pressure on the government. Let everybody go their separate ways at this point, because you see, like somebody said, we don't have a nation, we have a country. That's a powerful statement.
We don't even have a country. What do you mean?
No, let me just say, because all of us, we have something we have to call it. Let's say, because unfortunately, we have a country called Nigeria, but we don't have a nation. It is high time we start telling ourselves this truth, that this is not working. My only concern is that the Igbo politicians, the elite, we are slaves to these people. Okay? The same thing Sunday Igbohu, what's his name? It's the same thing Nnamdi Kanu did or is doing. But you guys chose, first of all, why would they even send him all the way to Sokoto? Why? Why would they do that to an Hausa man and send an Hausa man all the way to the Igbo land or Yoruba land? Let us be honest. We are third-class citizens in that country, whether we like it or not. Until we begin to realize that or more, it is high time we pack our stuff and leave. We are not going nowhere. And I want us to understand is that without the Igbos, Nigeria will not stand. I hate to say that. If you like, call me names on comments. I don't care. But that is the reality. And that is why they don't want the Igbo section of that country to develop. Because they know that if we have our own seaport, a lot of people will move down to east because we have land. Okay, this issue of building, people selling houses in Lagos, you'd be like, hey, even if they sell it $1, I will not buy. And like I mentioned earlier, anytime I'm going home, Chim, KJ, if I don't get to Onitsha, I'm from New, or if I don't get to New, you're not telling me anything. Once I get to Onitsha, I know that I'm 30 minutes away from New. I feel so happy. That's when I feel at home. I don't care what is happening. I've never cared about Lagos. In a kupumi side, so congested. There is no life. And even when people talk about it is the heartland of Nigeria, I said, tell me how much are you people making that will warrant you, but you don't have good health. Everywhere is dirty, including the Lagos. So let the Igbos go. But it breaks my heart that an Igbo man will pay for one tiny space, shop, 20 million. They will tell you 20 million a year. Why we have lands in Igbo land? And it's wasting. If you're going from Onitsha all the way to Enugu, look left, look right. We have lands. Every part of the Igbo land.
But if the problem is this, I hear you, I agree with you. Our people need to look homewards. But what you will understand is this. Some of those things, those businessmen, some of them are hamstrung. They have no choice. You are an importer. You have to import through Lagos.
I know.
And then to take it to the east is quite expensive for you. So what you do is you set up your business hub in Lagos. You buy stalls, you buy warehouse, so that it's easy to collect, dump in your warehouse, and begin to distribute quietly from there.
But that's why we have our... See, I know all these things that you're talking about because my brothers, they are business, I know what you're talking about because I've had this conversation with them and I can see where they're coming from. That's why we need to start speaking up, start mounting pressure on these people. You see what Odjus or Carlo and the other one, Carlo, when Abia people vote them out, by God's grace, if they can, vote them out and put people that can actually go there and shake the House of Rep. And trust me, it will be a wake-up call for these people. Because listen, let me tell you something. These senators, they have houses here. One of them is my friend's husband, has a house here, but you don't live here. Park Mercedes, but you don't live here. Why will I go and invest in a country that I don't live? You come here once in a year or twice in a year. For what? They
protect their assets here. They come and keep it here.
They're not an American citizen, nothing. Why do we keep taking this BS from these people? And that is why they keep... Look at Wike everywhere he's going. Wike is taking his son. What is Wike trying to do? He's trying to hand power to his son. He's trying to make his son to contest for House of Rep. Are you kidding me? And this is the same thing Tinubu is trying to do for his son to contest for governorship. But let me tell you something. The chains that is going to be broken is coming because once Tinubu buys, all these things will end in Lagos. Watch what is going to happen. Once there is no Tinubu in Lagos alive again, you won't hear about Sheyi anymore because people are going to rise up. They're giving him respect because he's still alive. But once he's gone, you will never hear about Tinubu's dynasty again. And again, my Igbo people, all the houses in Lagos, you people haven't learned your lesson. You people are still closing up these lakes and all that, building your mansions. And when they bring it down, you people will be crying foul. Stop building in Lagos. Go back home and build. Akurolo. And like I told you, even if they're selling houses 1 naira in Lagos, I will not buy. If you give it to me as a gift, I will tell you thank you, and I still will not stay there. That is not home for me. My home is where I belong to. You know, if I have to have any investment, it will not be in Lagos. It will be it will be Southeast anyway. It's not, I don't have anything to do with in Lagos. What is it in Lagos? You're talking about the seaport. I understand. But again, remember they have the on the port, right? The one in Rivers.
Yeah.
Let's start working on it. What's his name? Oti is working also to build a seaport. Let us support him. You know, but I know they're gonna fight tooth and nail for that not to happen. Let us have one international airport. We only have Enugu airport. The only flight that comes there is the Ethiopian airline. And when you ask them, they will tell you because people don't fly out all the time from Enugu. And the question you ask yourself, do these people even have a business IQ? Let me tell you, I'm not a businesswoman, but there are some things that you need to think about. If a lot of people are not flying from Enugu, what you need to do, go pick up the passengers in Enugu, then come to Lagos and fill your flight and then leave.
No, but that's, listen, that is a ruse. If all you need to do is listen, my dear, we all live here in the Western world now. Any flight from Canada that is bound more to Asia goes through Vancouver. No matter where you are in this country, if you're flying to Asia, you go to Vancouver and go on board. Or even if you're boarding from Toronto, which is another extreme, is in the east, Vancouver is the end of the west. Chances are that the flight will take off from Toronto, and come and drop people who will do a transit from Vancouver to Asia, China and co. If you're going to California from Canada, chances are you fly out through Vancouver, because California and Vancouver just to the same stream. One is under the other. Okay. But if you're going to Europe, you will necessarily have to go to Toronto most of the time.
Okay.
Because that's the gateway to Europe.
Okay.
So Nigeria is not the only country that has all these intricacies.
That's not what I'm saying.
No, what I'm trying to let you know is this. Everything we see happen in Nigeria is self-inflicted.
Yes.
It's simply self-inflicted. People know the right thing to do.
Yes.
They don't want to do it.
Yes.
Now, look at do you know that most flights going to Jeddah, going to Saudi Arabia, you must go to Kano.
Yeah.
So what are they talking about? They recognize that.
Okay. This is what I'm saying, right? KJ, bail me out. What I'm saying is this. Who are the people that travel most? We.
The Igbos.
About it. But most of us, we go through Lagos. Okay? But the question I have to ask you, at least in America, we have like almost all the states, they have one airport or maybe something 1 hour. Sometimes my friend will travel from Georgia, Atlanta to go to Alabama and save about $400, $500 to go. And at the end of the day, the same flight will come from Alabama, transit here in Atlanta, pick up passengers, and then go. Do you understand what I'm saying? What I'm trying to say is this. We are the third-class citizens in that country. The Hausa people, the Yoruba people, these two tribes can do anything they want to do and get away with it. But you see, an Igbo man can never do the same thing. See what they're doing to Peter Obi? Trust me, if he's an Hausa man or Yoruba man, that cannot happen. And all they are trying to do is not even only about Peter Obi. They don't want any Igbo man to ever be president. So why should we allow that to happen? Why can't we fend for ourselves? When my father, before my dad passed, he always say, Aga Biafra. I've already said it so many times. Ojukwu, my mom's younger brother, is married to Ojukwu's sister. Ojukwu's house is a walking distance from our house. My father will always say, Aga Biafra, Njigba Mahife. And I've said it so many times. And he will always say, look around the Igbo environment and ask yourself, did you see any Onye Hausa or Onye Yoruba? Onoya, they are okirikiri. I said, nobody. And when the day he made that statement, I thought about it. You don't even see them. And just recently, that is they started living in southeast and doing one thing. We have one that lives in our compound, very nice guy, keeps the compound clean. He's a Yoruba. Very nice. When I mean very nice, very nice. But how many of them? Come to think about it, how many of them? But Igbos, just this Christmas, Igbos went to celebrate Christmas. Lagos, they came about Osara. Ito pupin na Lagos, there, just because of Igbos. And you're telling me that everything they are doing is not because of the Igbos. Then build, if you feel that they are useless or they're not useful in that country, let them go. Do you know why they don't want us to go? Because without us, there will be no Nigeria. I'm sorry, anybody can call me anything they want to call me on the comment section. I don't give a hell. I don't care. But that's the truth. Let us stop lying to ourselves. My best friends here are Yoruba. I've called them out here on this platform. I love them today. And they will tell you when you argue or talk with them, they will be honest with you and tell you, mother country is not supposed to be in existence. They will tell you. Let us be honest with ourselves. See what is happening in Nigeria. Is that a country? Nigeria is not a country. Also, if you say that, I agree with you. But we use that word country, my brother. Where do we go from here?
Is this TM or somebody else?
Ching ching. Oh yo yo.
In a kind of case, think 16-year-old, not a high school. Where is he? Has he gone off? CM.
Let him put his camera on so that we can bring him.
Put on your camera now. He's not hearing me.
No, he will hear you because he's in the Once he's ready, you put on his camera. Now
okay.
Hello.
CM, that photograph, was that when you were in high school? Oh, no, I hear you. CM, can you hear us? Can you hear? You're muted. You're muted. You're muted.
Sorry, let me unmute. Yes, can you?
Yeah.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you. I can hear you. I said that's your photograph. Is that when you were in high school?
No, I was. Chim, good evening. Good evening. What is early morning. Good evening. I know. I trouble me joined earlier, but all I burum so no kataze tete. Where for no kado on. I didn't know.
They were looking for you to come and they said
I listened to you about
Soludo.
I listened to you about Soludo and the disaster in Onitsha. I think objective view was given by KJ, and I like the way KJ analyzed it. KJ had a very, very insightful, intelligent view. The problem with Soludo in leadership, when we have anthropology, you have to know the culture of the people you lead, how you give them. That's why in the North, they protect the bandits and terrorists. That is their culture. They feel they can do it. You can't sacrifice your people because you want to please somebody somewhere else. No, it doesn't work that way. But one important point people fail to understand, or you people miss, even, every month, those people pay tax.
Why is his network misbehaving?
Because CM, because if you can UK, how can UK not have good internet?
I don't know. What he said is what when Soludo made that analysis, what he said was what I thought about.
Yeah.
These people are paying every month. They pay you complete tax. They don't minus Mondays.
But KJ, I said it here, and somebody said I was saying nonsense. I said, hold on, Monday or no Monday, don't these people pay tax every month? I said, you heard it.
Again,
so your money is complete.
This is not a democratic country. Honestly speaking, we do not have no business practicing democracy in Nigeria. It's not going to work for us in Africa. That's not what we practice. Because if you tell me that we are practicing democracy in Africa, I will look at you, I will even cuss you out. So let us not lie to ourselves. Let's find out something. Find what can work for us, because this is not working.
I agree with
we might as well just tell somebody, Tinubu, go ahead and get your second tenure. And like I always said, after that, you tell a German to, go. You tell a Galaman to go. All the ethnic groups, since that's what we want to do. Then we go from there. But I hate when people talk about voting. Our vote doesn't count, because we all saw what happened in the last election. That's not democracy. The election result that's supposed to be announced within 24 hours, immediately, within 24 hours. It took them how many days? You told us there is a glitch.
CM is back.
Okay, go ahead, August CM. Good evening, sir.
CM, can you hear? Hi. Yo, we can't hear you.
Okay, I'm back on now.
Yeah, no, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, you can hear me now. Now, the next, before they attack me again, the next point I want to make is this. Apart from tax, every market pays security fee. Do you understand that? You people forgot that. So those Onitsha traders are paying you security fee to the government. Are you protecting them on that Monday? Do you see it? So that's what people forgot. They pay security fee different from tax, which means they are giving you this tax based on how much they earn from their profit. Pay as you earn. The insecurity, take this extra because you are the state. Protect us. So government has failed. You don't have to go and lock them. If you can provide security on the Monday, that settles it. It's not enough telling them to come out. So that is the mistake. And that is what Soludo forgot. And that is what they are going to argue in court. And they will defeat the government. They provide you security. On a particular day, they feel they are not insecure. What security did you provide for that day? Because they pay for it. And like AJ said, you cannot say they are paying you tax for 6 days. For 5 days of the week without Monday. They are paying for everything. So you have no right shutting the market down. Then if I'm to bring a little bit of sentiment towards it, Soludo disappointed me. He failed woefully in that aspect. Do you know why? How on earth, after what happened in Imo State, the hatred Ndibo have for Hope Uzodinma, apart from moving from fourth to first, that is out of the people's hand. That is purely Buhari's and Fulani machination. Hope Uzodinma invited the Janjaweed called Nigerian army to come and be shooting people in Olu. Have you ever heard that any state governor in the north said, federal government, bring army to this local? They don't do it. So why should Soludo go and bring army out to come and be pointing gun, let alone if they didn't shoot? Why? It's an assault on your people. You don't try that. You don't try it. They said in Enugu, Peter Mba wanted to do it that way, but the thing died naturally. As a matter of fact, they're even missing the point. If you ask the people, why do you shut down this market? Why don't you come out? Remember, you are paying tax and you are paying security. Why are you not coming out to do your business? They say, look, it's like they are mourning Nnamdi Kanu, or maybe their solidarity with him, that because he's there, we felt that this is, some people are remembering Nnamdi Kanu in prayers. Some may decide that, let me forfeit my one-day profit or business because of him. Yes, somebody said it shouldn't be class. Maybe Chi may decide to do it. It doesn't force me. No, they're not forcing each person. It's not by force. They decided on their own. They said if they can shut down for 3 months during COVID, what is one day in the week? So Soludo from every angle, forget about it. It's what they call emotional intelligence, like Valentine Ozibo was saying then. I now understand what he meant. On this score, I'm not with Soludo. He failed it woefully and I'm disappointed. You don't do that. Okay, you say you're an economist. They shut down for 1 day. You want to shut down for 1 week. Who is losing? Onye jere ịchụ igwurube ọkpọha ụmụnna ya nke fefuru efefu onye ka ọ ghọrọ ahịa. Ị na-eji ije gba nkwube ndị ọgọgọ ịma na iru ebe ahụ ọgụ ka a ga-eri gụnwa bụ dị mmanụ na-abịa ịnọ nwaanyị nkụ ka a na-eri ibukọrọ mmanya na nri iji akpọrọ ndị ụmụnna ya eruo ka ha ritekwuo ya ọtọ nọsensị ndị Igbo ịkpọ ha je onye ka ọ ghọrọ. That is the thing. Onye ka ị na-eme ụmụ nwanne gị. You want to force them. Kasị na ị na-eme nka. Can they try this in the Southwest? Soludo disappointed. Onwe ha na-akpọ emotional intelligence. It doesn't, and the other kama kasị na a people defeated their leader than a leader defeated his people. I mean, let's weigh it now. As a leader, I crush my people. No. It's better they say the people defeated their leader. And like I was told, my uncle used to tell me, so na dispute between nwanne na nwanne anaghị enwe winner and loser. Ihe bụ nwanne na nwanne, ihe a bụ ihe gbasara ndị anaghị enwe winner and loser. Everybody is a winner, everybody is a loser. The most important thing ị ga-agwa ha na lotekwe na Monday ọrụ anaghị azụ ahịa, you are paying tax for it. So don't worry. They are making it for Nnamdi Kanu. By the way, give it Burundi like Nnamdi Kanu because of Biafra agitation or no, the rhetorics. That was years back. People go the court process where this is pure injustice. They now supported the guy. So not because he getting Biafra, but because of injustice of the court process. Soludo, what are you contributing towards it? No. He failed it. There's no way to rationalize. Just can use those in Sindhi, happy whether the English law or whatever law. No. Happy. It doesn't mean that Monday alone. Leave it for them. You know how you wake. Look at the braggadocio. I close it and then I use the caterpillar. Makachukwu try. I bend 9 is so if you go at the floor. If you don't know. Oh yes.
You can't try it.
Oh yes.
He was just making noise.
Oh my God, those one braggadocio. But if I do them, if I close it down, for 1 week. I bring a caterpillar. I level this place. This man, other kaburo mentality. Abago isi. Hope ụzọ dị mma pakịrị Rolls Royce na ọmụma his hometown na ọ na Owerri na-aba mba eje ebe ahụ level nwee dite na ọkụ ike egwu ya. You don't try that. That will overpower your people. In fact, ndị Igbo do easy to lead by conviction. Egwu na amụ. This thing will just go away. That's what Peter Mba used. The thing died in Enugu. It doesn't mean that in Enugu are like Nnamdi Kanu, they are not in sympathy. But you don't come with force to come. Who are you? Some people look, 1 year, they can be eaten. And you can't hold the Igbo, man. They move vote
they have
another
other
place.
outlets where they will transact their businesses.
Exactly. Then the shame will be on you. Okay, if you put a caterpillar to come and be leveling the place, shop level here, Julie. Level people even those people who level right, they will not look at and say, look, we thought the place is an open, the shops, the warehouses are open. In a level there and Kiji Vuronye. Mbafo etekaka they used to tell us, Mbafo etekaka nyana onwe see. No matter how long, no matter how far a year will be, just give it 6 months, it will round up.
Yeah.
Soludo for your phone. He may say so the man disappointed big time. I never expected him to be. Even the rhetorics on a kugodu non self, how can you be talking that? How can? Shorting, look, you don't do no economics. His professor, well, he's economist. You can cut your nose to spite your face. And you may even say, okay, let me raise the small tax to frontier and with her. How will you raise the tax? How will you claim one because on ha akuzie nka na anyị na-eluzu ego na the tax no ji akwụja agbagote people were say okay jire. What will it cost Soludo to put even no feel no more security? My people say it shall go beyond Onisha without security. Can you go on Monday? Let's see. You can't. It's and what is on board. It's not done that way. It's emotionally he's not intelligent. I don't like it. He disappointed big time. You can't handle. KJ said it better. You can't handle Igbo like that. Each and the people you are ruling. That is part of leadership. Even a company's organizational culture determines the culture of the organization, determines their business pattern, their profit, everything. Management will tell you. That's what we have. I think part of them used to say it. And then we have organization, culture, and productivity. That's the way it relates. Soludo messed up. Onye ka ọ na-please. Tinubu Sanwo-Olu cannot write in the southwest. Yoruba will tell him. In the north, the way they protect their own, albeit that they have job, but they protect them. I don't like that. Even then, on a report, in Wagona, every state is army. They don't do it. People may protest. It's a shame. It's a shame. Ezioku, I'm disappointed in Soludo. Nobody should support him. Although no my here game, only you can idea ka okenye ji agbara ehi ọsọ ọkpọ another meeting. So as a result of that, I will continue to consult widely my politicians. I will continue to consult. There are a lot of influences from abroad. You make a mahan. Emepekwa shop onye ọ na-emekwa ihe ị na-eme, so we consult widely kama onwe ike, so we learn every day. Ikwuo ya na agbaghara but ọ bụghị nke ịkpa na-enye iwu ịkpọchi ilevro ka gịnị mee i close your school down. Who are you? Ilevro the place is warfare. We never know peace till where maybe they know it, man. Ebe thousands of if they are short billionaires, if they make their business, governor, who are you? Kiji Onyekevo.
And again, he can come there on Monday and tell people to come and trade. I will come with my security and trade with you people on Monday. You have to assure these people. But you're not doing that. Instead, you are threatening them. When you threaten people, they will be like, oh, I don't know he can be those no gets double women. So, like I said, I don't know, you guys said it. I didn't expect that from him, so-called professor.
No, but all of you don't expect. You keep saying you don't expect. So Soludo is positioning himself for higher office, and I think he's pandering to people.
And this is the highest he can go, Soludo, honestly, because he might try to run for the president. He's not gonna get there.
Listen. There once upon a time, there lived a man called Dr. Kingsley Mbadiwe. Mbadiwe will win an election in every part of Olu senatorial district. Obiana run this zog or that flat. Do you know why? Soludo winiaka to the Ocho president. I don't care whether my Ndukogi, my Yoruba Bienisi, Pifro Ndibo, Anambra. That could about P2B, and now with their legs out here, imagine people here, so let's put their legs out. Soludo over a time in a hill, he disappear from the scene for years. You don't come and wound Bariandibo like this. That's why. They voted for you last November. You came to them, they voted, and they have with Monday, they voted for you. That I shot the market, even you can't be dictatorial like this. You can't.
But I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised at Soludo's behavior. I'm not. See, anything Soludo is doing now, I have expected. I have always believed he has a messianic tendency. He wants to show and prove that he is a know-it-all. That is the Soludo that I know. I don't know the one people know. The one that I know that I have always seen is an ITK, a huge one. So my disappointment, Alvarado, that now he even did that. My disappointment is in the fact that he failed first and foremost, like you said, CM, to realize he's dealing with his own people. His own people.
Exactly.
Do you understand? There's a way you deal with your people. You understand? There's this saying that now, when the chicks go astray and the hawk comes to pick up a chick, mother hen first does what? First protects the chicks After he has
Yes.
driven the
Exactly.
hawk away,
The hawk.
he comes back to scold this thing. But that is not what some of these people are doing. People like Odjus Okalo, Soludo, Benjamin Carlo. I can keep on. What's his man? The man from Ebonyi State. That one is even annoying. That guy is
Umahi.
Umahi.
Mm.
That man is.
I think Omahi, I think Odi, my friend, One Africa, I think Odi is from Abia and they're Afipo side. I think that Omahi,
No, Odi only Abia State.
Afipo is in Abia. Okay. Afipo is in Ebonyi. Okay.
I'm around Chim and the KJ there. I know their villages. I know their houses, but they don't know.
Okay. Is he Chim? I mean, if you can concur to this, I think we're Anambra for also the biggest millionaire in the world. He done a meeting Umunna. Somebody can dress you down.
Of course.
And they can carry Umunna. Chineke we chọọ ịkpọrọ ọkụ iwe so na o nwere ihe nwada mere gị that your billions ije eji ikpere ha you see that is, you should know your people. You should know your people. Oh, Nesi eme ihe. If we ban other big man around no ụmụnna meeting, you can't come and intimidate anybody. Soludo messed up. And the only Igbo cover, only Igbo. How can you come and be telling billionaires here thousands of the largest industry in Onitsha? If I'm not mistaken, main market is the largest.
Even the West
is the largest employer.
Is
the largest employer of labor. Is largest because if you have every morning, need troop to go and open shops and do the troop. That is the largest employer of labor in Anambra State and generated the heaviest revenue. Microphone in a baron. Somebody sooner they can decide let that place be shut down. That they will be still doing business somewhere. On the any Igbo man can't survive with civil war. What is Onitsha? But Soludo is a shame. Nobody keep way to that level.
He didn't handle it well. I don't think he didn't handle it well.
One Africa.
Yeah. Good evening, everybody. Kanzu Kondibo. Sometimes, what's his name? Forefather will gather with his fellow Islamists, and they will be on this program for hours and hours. At least it's good that at least we'll have some like minds. Maybe I think we should actually just. I know that there's an Igbo session, but I think it's odd days, so people can't really join in. But
I should have actually asked what's his name? He showed I anchored
the thing. Come at the timing. Friday night. It favors those in the US more because I will go 1 a.m. UK time, Friday. And most of us, Saturday do pretty useless. You can't function. But you don't have US, maybe 6 p.m., 7, it will go Friday and that. So it favors them more. It doesn't mean we will revive it again in the light of
I think if you revive it, people, because I like some of the things you guys are discussing. The beauty of Ndibo is that we have diverse opinion. We've lived free forever. We had nobody calling himself king, all over us, except people who are closer to River Niger. Any other person who calls himself king around that side, those people are warrant chiefs. They are criminals. You see, anybody around Abia State, except maybe 1 or 2 communities who have organized sort of, Arrow, some, around Old Bend, there are some villages, Abreba, have some. But if you see those Ungwa, Mbise, all those, anybody that calls himself king, that can said his grandfather was a king, now claiming kingship or calls himself prince, He's a product of a warren chief, and they were saboteurs to the white men. It's true. And they go and trace the history. So
I agree with you.
And because we've been always free to say our mind, in as much as, look, Soludo is one person I really dislike in the East, right? And he's just really from grace to grass. You can see that he's dancing azonto to a particular audience. He's trying to impress some people. And he's an intelligent guy, when he wants to do the right things. Funny enough, I do agree with him to find a way to open up the markets on Mondays, but, 100%, I'm from Abia State. In Abia State, there's nothing like sit at home on Monday, for the larger part, I was just in the East. On Monday, on Mondays, I just don't go to Imo State, because there could be skirmishes, But you usually inside Abia State, you drive around, you go from Enugu, you go to Abia. It's very safe. And, for commerce and for our people, it makes sense. If we had said, okay, let's convert Monday to Saturday, I think people thought about that at some point, and just say, okay, let's fight because of Nnamdi Kanu or something. Would have been, but you can't lose 3 days in a week. Civil servants don't open, many banks don't open, though banks in Abia State are opening on Monday. I know I went to bank on Monday in Abia State. But, for Anambra not to have any type of commerce on Mondays is really very hard. But the idea of, telling people that if they don't open, trying to do it by force, you can't do that. That's just the problem. Ndibo, just want people that you can do anything, but if you tell them that they must do this, they will do the opposite. And this is just us, the idea that you can come and just tell a bunch of, look at those men in Anambra, you tell them that, they'll tell you to go to hell. Even the junior ones are the ones that will be your problem, So I don't know. I think so. He's a smart guy, but he's a very extremely poor leader. And he has showed itself. His pettiness with P2B, his jealousy. His deep-rooted jealousy. He's just a small person. I'm sure you had this kind of people in your primary school and secondary growing up, and those kind of people. He falls within that. It's just for how much he did for Nigerian banking sector and the pettiness he's showing as his, it's just, it's a shame to even Ndibo, because, it's one of the people, when you talk about Ndibo, you can't diminish what he's done or who he is. But now, even in Anambra State, he's a sitting governor. When people are waiting for B to come so that they will just disgrace him, it's just, it's terrible being him. That your people love somebody else. Like you have a wife, and your wife likes his ex-boyfriend. Anytime he comes around, there's something about her. That's what's going on, and the man is just it's a problem. But anyway, that's I don't think it's very important, and I think Anambra people they will sort themselves out. I hope he doesn't try to use violence. I hope people don't lose their lives.
But he brought One Africa, he brought out the military for peaceful protests. For what?
Yeah, he's a poor leader now.
No, but the
good
is the police commissioner or police personnel who is managing the situation there was bold enough to tell him you can't force anybody to go to market.
Simple.
Yeah. No, you can't.
He's going to contest for presidential election. Okay.
Yeah, he believes somebody told him that that is his turn. So our history will be, so our history is similar to, when I watch, the Israelis, their history, you can see how you always have all these people who connive with outsiders, you mentioned what's his name, the Ebonyi State former governor. These are the people dancing around. They say when it's the turn of presidency for Igbo, it will be there. They will be there. when these people don't know history, the history is littered with people like them. Ogbonnaya continue to do that thing. See, if you ask any northerner, he will tell you, Ogbonnaya, very good man, very good man. But whenever he says it's my turn to lead, they will throw him into the dustbin. But in the last election, when he thought it was his turn, he came to the podium and cried. Say, when will this stop happening? His brother is there. That one is even less educated. Ogbonnaya at least was a straight A student, first class guy, intelligent guy. He was a very poor governor. I'm from Abia. He was a terrible governor. I think this Abia State has been so unlucky. The only person that we had was Ajobena that did any type of thing before.
One Africa, no, not Ajobena.
No. Ajobena started. No. Ajobena gave us that. I'm telling you the truth. Ikewosu, what he did was more of discipline. I'm talking about infrastructure that you can. Ikewosu was telling people not to wear short skirts, and it was more of Idiabon. That's what he was.
He's a soldier now. He's a military man.
But I'm talking about any type of infrastructure at all. When Ajobena started, look, I was born in Umuahia, I grew up there. When when Umuahia became capital, I was in Owerri, right, in school. When we had running water, the water works started working. Every tap, the guy started laying pipes and everything. It became a city, right? Really. Bought transformers, but they bought all these. I think waste disposal things. So the guy really, really brought in infrastructure. I think most people are happy with him. He had a short reign. But I'm talking about when we had civilian governor, that brief one, Ogbonnaya, it was people from Onitsha, they were hanging out in Library Avenue there, killing cow every day. It was a terrible time for us. I don't know why I'm talking about Ogbonnaya, but it's just that
I had a sting with him within that period because I was in government college then. And two of his students were my juniors in school. So I remember them being brought to school by state security and everything. That's one of the closest things. And then the fact that he kept talking in hyper fallopian ways, talking about how he was going to turn exactly what Soludo is saying, although people are saying Soludo is building infrastructure. This guy kept telling us he was going to turn Nigeria into a technological center. Have you forgotten that?
Obuaku City now. Ojus Okado has that have destroyed.
Okay, anyway. You see, maybe the English people will say it has to be bad to be good, or it has to be worse to be better. So, you see, Abia is now on top. Do you know why? I won't forget what Alex Oti said. The day national grid collapsed, so people were telling me, said national grid in Nigeria collapsed. Abia is not among. Abia is not on national grid. So, in other words, it's a record. Abia is getting it right now. I wish that this idea of a second term, maybe for governors, let them give the state assembly the right to change that law. Let Alex Oti continue until the day he feels he can't continue anymore, then he can retire and then go home. The man he's really an administrator. He understands. It's not that there are no issues, but when you see him talk and the way he carry the humility, it will sweep you off your feet.
Let me just sorry to interrupt you, CM. There's something I really want to say. This Tinubu, look, I like Tinubu's government. Why? Because Tinubu has brought out. There's somebody that said it. I think is that's your bad guy. Said there are many people who would have died with honor. There are many people who would have escaped. And wouldn't have known their true colors. This. We even thought this former Ebonyi governor was a human being. And Soludo and all this. Tinubu has turned everything around, and we have we can see everybody for who they are. And look, he has favored even in the East. I know people give hope or they may have hard time. I just came back from the East. The man, for whatever reason, I don't know what he's doing with Tinubu. The man is doing fantastic in Imo State, infrastructure-wise. Anybody, Abia State, of course, is doing very good. Enugu has had a good run for some time. I'm even finding it hard to judge the guy in Enugu. But what I'm saying is, it's not all too bad for Ndibo, and that's why personally. Go ahead.
But Enugu is a one city state. That's one. Whenever people bring in compare Enugu and the Abia or Anambra, Abia is at least 2 or 3 city states. The same thing with Anambra. Enugu is one city state and former capital of Eastern region. All you need to do is to repent independence layout. That is where you have the repentance.
Same thing with Imo too. Imo too is a one city state over. That's all.
Okay, to some extent, but because Solo, apart from Enugu city and Enugu remove independence layout and the new heaven, which has been there for donkey years, with everything beautified. So all you need to do is to retouch it, and people will start shouting. Why can't he go to something like Ogu, a virgin place, or something like even in Soka University town? Go and then bulldoze everywhere and then put up something. Let us hail you. So Enugu, I don't usually, and most of the projects he completed were started by Chimaroke Nnamani. Number one, the International Hospital. Chimaroke finished it, only he couldn't roof it and then maybe finish up. International Conference Center was Chimaroke's idea. Built up very well. It's just to put the finishing touches and everything. They abandoned it and some other things. Now look at the contract he awarded for smart schools to one Yoruba criminal. Paid 11 billion up front. Is it not 11 billion they say he gave the man, or 5-something billion with nothing done? And at the time it was a scandal. So Enugu is overhyped. Rather, I go for the man in Abia who was able to turn a Port Harcourt road. People where they grow corn before, a road abandoned, become a farmland. The man, whatever he's doing, Alex Otis is a worker. Nobody can doubt that. He's the best after Sam Mbakwe so far. He's the best.
Let's welcome these 2 new people here, Jefferson and Mazio. I don't know if you guys know what we're discussing.
Yeah. Something like that.
Okay, so Jefferson, you want to tell us before we go to Mazio?
Sorry, Mazio. I know if according to elders, the elder statesman is supposed to have the floor first. Sorry, sir.
I'm okay.
All right. I'll pay protocol. Yeah, it's all right. Good evening, everyone. I perceive we are speaking on the performance of our governors, which is very, very a good thing to discuss. I don't know. I will say this without any remorse. Sorry, without any apologies. That the Igbos are very objective people. I don't want to go the lane you are perceiving. I think you want me to go, because you cannot just do something. We don't just do something for doing sake. If you know what I mean. We don't just cause problem for causing sake. So let me just because of the sensitivity of what we are discussing, let us concentrate on the performance of the governors, right? For me, out of all the Southeastern governors, I will give Alesoti number 1, because it takes guts to have a broken system. You see a place that is very, very broken, destroyed, dilapidated, but you are still able to pay salaries, you are still able to work on roads, you are still able to do futuristic projects, you are still able to provide electricity. You can remember, if you guys remember, he went to a university hostel unannounced, saw the state of university. I was like, did these where students stay? Yes. And he said he was going to come back and they need to remodel the place. And he did that. And he's doing more. He's doing more. That takes guts. It actually takes guts to do something different. And with the trajectory in which I'm saying it, he's going to do even more than what he's doing today. Because this is someone that I personally know. I know with his pedigree, you know. And don't forget too, this is more or less like a government, a reformative governance. I've been seeing a lot of analysis where some people will compare Enugu State governor, what he's doing versus what Abia State governor is doing. And I'm like, the metrics does not even make any sense. There were some allegations that they were even giving Abia State government, that Abia State government was getting more allegations, more allocations in terms of funds to do more. But they forget one thing. I don't know if you guys are aware, but some of us who are privileged to have worked in the construction industry, a 1 kilometer road in River State, the estimation of 1 kilometer road in River State is different from the same 1 kilometer road done in Kano. Also different from what is done in Ondo. If you can remember too, this argument was also brought up when they were questioning the Minister of Works, grilling him. If you can remember then, to give us a poor estimate. I think it was Rufai was saying, okay, what is the estimate of this? But of course, you know, and then of course the governor of Oyo State had to chime in too, and it was a back and forth about the cost of doing all these roads. But if you agree with me, most of the roads, you can't get them the same estimate across board because terrain, topography will definitely play a key role. And again, it's not just about topography, it's the type of road they're also doing. Because most times when you see people doing, they say they do so many roads. What is the standard of road they are doing, right? So if you look at, and if you notice that most of those is doing, he's not just doing road for the sake of it. He's doing standard road that is very, very durable, that will stand the test of time. Even before he was governor, maybe people don't know, but at the time, there was one road that he was involved in. That road, I can tell you, if you go there today, it's still standing. That is the kind of person. He does a project, but it's not just about, we're not just talking about Alex here. We're just trying to say that the kind of governance that he's giving in Abia State is not rocket science. It takes it, and the reason why people want him to stay there for a very long time is because of the objective results that can be seen. And you know, sometimes, you know, in the previous show, you know, people, I'm sorry to say, I don't want to call him before Madam will beat me. I don't need to, but let me just say it anyway. People were like, oh, why are we celebrating doing roads? We have to celebrate it. Now, I'm not saying that doing roads is the only thing is all the only governance metrics of governance. It's very, very critical. I can tell you one thing, that having all those infrastructures, let's not go too far. We're in all the different parts of the world. There's a sharp difference between having fewer infrastructure and road, bridges, and the connected real estate and everything. When a place that lacks all these things and a place that has it, you know what it looks like, right? So if those fundamentals are captured, if they're captured from the very, very beginning, it will give a clear roadmap to where we are going as a country, right? For instance, you go to a village that has no sort of development, you level the place, you put 1 or 2 roads, and then once you put light, you electrify the place, activity starts, and then more industries will now build on it. It's just basic. This is basic common sense here, you know. It is what it is, actually, on that note. So I give it to him because it took guts. Because, I mean, imagine those 24 years. If the past governors of Abia State had done even half of what Alex Otti did, Abia State is not supposed to be where it is today. In fact, Lagos and Abia State will be at par right now. And I'm telling you, if they had done this, because don't forget, I can remember, it was like 15 years ago, thereabout, when River State used to be the you know, because as far as I'm concerned, River State is going down now because they seem not to get things right now. Once you leave from the Port Harcourt Enugu Express, once you just coming all the way from the express and you're entering Abia State. It's like, yeah, forgive me, you are moving from a place of rest to a place of chaos, from heaven to hell. Then could have, if you put it in literal terms, you will literally see
Maybe
the
from
road
Gaza
move.
from
Yeah,
Gaza to Tel Aviv.
exactly. And then when you see that place that is bad, you'll be like, oh, so it was like a stench. So from that place of from that boundary, you'll be like, oh, Abia State, take care of yourself. And I felt really bad. Going on that road, I knew what I saw. And it took it took the initiative of this governor to make sure that that road was captured within a very quick time. And I give it to him. But many people are going to be shocked. So all the noise that all these guys are making is not, it doesn't, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't hold any water. They are just angry that they remove the money they are chopped from their mouth. And of course, if they get it right, if they hold their ground, and if they make sure they stand to protect their votes, at least, and there's nothing able to come in again. Then the issue of Anambra, I feel I'm sorry to say, Soludo is a very envious person. It's kind of envious because he has only done one tenure, right? I've watched a video where an event where P2B was there, they recognized P2B more than they recognized Soludo. So it's a team of, so it is more or less like a, how will I put it now? He's very, very envious. Soludo, the way I like it or not, or maybe if you guys are not be observing, Soludo is very much envious of P2B. And most times he's always trying to attack him on public scenario. The same way like Reno is attacking Obi, just for obvious reasons. It's the same, it's all the kind of same scenario. So he's just being envious, as far as I'm concerned. Nobody's doing this. This is not a contest. All the things that Obi did is there speaking. And we knew what Anambra State used to be before and after P2B came out. We knew what it used to be. So you cannot take that away from him. What I expect Soludo to do is to do more transformative projects. More. The mannerism in which he's going about his about his policies. I mean, it doesn't make any sense. People say, oh, that government is government. They have the final say. I tell you what, when the people, you see, one thing people need to realize is that we are the government. Yes, we know that the government is in charge. I can tell you one thing, there's a way you push people. If people do not like a certain government, if people are tired, it happened in Nepal. Let's not forget. See what happened in Nepal is a practical example. Imagine what happened in Nepal happening in Nigeria. Don't you think the leaders will sit up? In the north, that most of their leaders are so revered. I aware that there are some cases where they chase their House of Rep and senators because people are tired, man. We're not saying, look, people get it all wrong. People respect the government, but they want the government to do their due diligence. Nobody's saying they will not pay tax, they will not obey the rules and everything. But situation where they are being callous and everything. I mean, come on, nobody's going to sit down. They're not going to sit down and take that. So everything has its own it has its own expiring date.
All right.
So in conclusion, for Enugu, I mean, most of it's just continuity. So anything they are doing doesn't really impress me. But they are still there. I mean, the guy is still working. Imo State. Unfortunately, Imo State, I'm from Imo State. I'm not saying without any regard. Imo State, the guy is just trying to be politically in alignment with the ruling party. That's what I see. And we have the highest gas reserves. But that's not what we want to hear. We want to see that, okay, we have gas reserve, because I heard that they're trying to do power projects, that the power project they want to do, they want to they want, they want to electrify the whole distance. So if they are going to do that, that means my village and everyone's village from Imo State should have light, because the gas that we have there is enough. If they build on that gas infrastructure, it means they will have a gas power station that will power most of the 27 local governments. Because we have 24 hours electricity. So I don't see any roadmap. I don't know what the governor is doing, but of course, the governor is running out of time, so he doesn't really have time to do much.
Let Mazi speak. There's something I want to use the opportunity that all of us are here to bring up. That has to do with development and the concept of how do they put this in economics? It's called comparative advantage. But before we come there, let me hear from Mazi Okpara, and then we'll start that. I want to tap our ideas when it comes to comparative advantage for each of the states. Mazi.
Yeah, good evening from here. I'm in Minneapolis, St. Paul's, Minneapolis. That's where I'm. That's where I'm talking from.
Ice.
You're visiting North America from Germany.
Yeah, I've been here for. Yeah, I just arrived here two days ago. Yeah, pretty cold. Just deep freezing cold. Minus 90.
How many degrees is it now?
I think we have about minus 10 Fahrenheit.
Minus 10? That's good.
Minus 10, yeah. If I'm not mistaken.
What are you talking about? Minus 10, that's good.
I'm sure, but I think minus 10 is freezing, man. Unbelievable. Anyway, we're minus 18 Fahrenheit.
That is minus 10 Celsius.
Yeah,
minus 10 Celsius.
Yeah, that's minus 10 Celsius, which is not bad.
When I left,
for those in Canada,
have you never been in minus 31?
No,
Canada,
but
it's not bad.
I think a few days ago it was even minus 22 Celsius. Fahrenheit. It's terrible, because in Germany we only have about minus 3, minus 4, minus 5, max. Lowest minus 6. Not this minus 18 something. It's too very, very hot there. But what I have been hearing about what the ice are doing here, I think sometimes with media is really not helping the issues, because this is where I do come every year. My family are living here. My children are living here. So when people come on this platform, speak very horrible about the president of this country. I had one of them today calling him all kinds of names. I said, wow, the name he cannot even dare to call his own president in Nigeria. And he lives here in America. He calls the president of America such derogatory name. It's very unfortunate. Anyway, I'm here for about, I will be here for 6 weeks, and I go back to my warmer Germany. Yeah, I heard all what you discussed today, but what surprised me was when that Frank Ruto was here, this young man, John Abba and AY, they didn't come on that show. I was expecting them to come and dispute what that young man was talking about, but I think they didn't come, or they didn't show up. So that's the kind of hypocrisy you have on this line, on this platform. Because when somebody that can punch their lies or their hypocrisy is on, they will not appear. Because this person that was there today knew that it's from that place. He knows what his people are going through, and these people they didn't appear here. That was a very disappointing one. Come to Soludo. Soludo is not my favorite person. I don't like him personally. The way he, treating Anambra, the way he plays his politics, I don't like it. Even the time he was fighting all those the traditional doctors or in the DBA, he was calling them the Nefa. He went into shrines, confiscating shrines because he believed those people were like the idol worshippers. Yeah, and Yoruba, I have never seen any Yoruba governor that does this something like that. Even though in Yoruba land they have traditional worshippers more than Igbos, but he went into the bushes, went into shrines, were destroying them. Now he's focusing on marketers. Assuming that man has some respect for elders, at least the Obi of Onitsha is there. Supposed to first and foremost pay him a courtesy visit, go with him or plead with him, please let us go and see these people. Or at least that markets have leaders, go to them, pick them one by one, invite them to your office, or go with them to the Igwe of Onitsha, and then sort things out. You just went there with your police and army, and these people that are trigger happy people. They like shooting people, mostly shooting Igbo people. You put them there, and you saw how they were even shooting on unarmed people. I don't know whether live bullet or plastic bullet, but it was horrible. It was a very horrible, scene. Watching him talking down on people. Some traders are even older than him, and he was giving some martial order. I will bulldozer this, I will do this, I will do that. Anyway, I heard that today he had yesterday story on Thursday, he had some meeting with them, and they're trying to sort things out. But the way he's, talking to, or the way he talked down on that people was very, very annoying. When you look at them, when you listen to him, it was very annoying. I like what the police commissioner told him. We cannot force these people out of their homes to open their market. And for him, that was a blow. That was a blow as a governor. Supposed to know the right of the people. You don't go to the market.
Have the name of that police commissioner, please. I find it interesting.
I think his name is Oyedele or so. He's a Yoruba man. It's a Yoruba man. The man told him, we can't do this.
That's our police man.
No, the police commissioner in Anambra is a Yoruba guy. He told him.
Sorry to interrupt. Because that guy from the north now, Yerima. That Yerima guy that knew his work and said, "Look, I'm not stupid, sir." So
okay,
that's like Yerima.
Okay, you're talking about the one with Wiki, right?
Yes. So
yeah. The guy told, okay, his name is I think I have his name here now. Should have his. I think his name is.
Don't worry about
that. He's a Yoruba guy. He's a Yoruba guy. So, and I love the way he spoke to the governor. He embarrassed him more, because as a governor, as a chief security officer of the state, he's supposed to know the law more than even the police person. What do you want them to do? To start forcing those people out of their house and forcing them into the market and forcing them to open their market. But the issue that these Igbo political elites, they don't want to discuss the issue, because this sit at home didn't all of a sudden, they didn't start like that. These people didn't just all of a sudden start, sitting at home. No, something what made them to start sitting at home. The issue has not been solved, because when these young people were demonstrating peacefully in Head Bridge, you saw how the police were killing them. You saw how the army people were shooting them. That's why they say, okay, if we come out of the street, you shoot us. So why not we sit at home? And the irony of the whole thing is that even the police that day, they sit also at home. The police, they don't come out. So if the police or the army are sitting at home and we want these people to come out, who is going to, protect these people from even this so-called unknown government? Because I believe that the government is part of this, insecurity in Igbo states. A lot of, conspiracies. Tell me why a policeman should, be sitting at home at the same Monday, and you want these people to come out and open their doors and their market. It's not done anywhere. Soludo Shuts, please.
Mazabara, let me introduce this. Let me introduce this angle. Do you know that this sit at home on Monday? When there is sit at home, even the police checkpoint, all of them sit at home too.
Yes, I know. I know that.
With the police, with their gun and the army, all those checkpoints, everybody will sit at home because they're also afraid.
Of
not
course.
to talk of somebody who is not armed.
Make this thing, make it very, very civic. Like here in America, where if there is a government shutdown, the private businesses are not shut down. So sometimes you see that government shut down for 6 weeks. So sometimes this thing can happen. Private people shut down, government shut down. So you don't force anybody to, come and open your market. And moreover, Ekene said one thing that I really loved when Ekene spoke this. Ekene said, if Soludo is saying that every Monday the state loses about 19 billion naira. How much is IGP? Internal regional revenue from Anambra State, not up to 50 billion every year. So where does this man get this numbers? That even when they quote this, you ask yourself, but the entire IGP, internal general, this product from the whole Igbo land, it's not up to 100 billion every year. But every day would come and tell you how much this sit at home is costing the government. Who is lying to who now? Who is really lying? That means the government is lying. That means they are.
I think that's where you are now is a good point, is a good segue to pivot into something I think should be of interest to us. I've always been of this view that each of the 5 Igbo-speaking states has a comparative advantage that for some strange reason, none of these governors has been able to see and tap. I'll give you an example. When I used to work in Nigeria, Enugu is a place on weekends. Everybody wants to go to on a weekend to go and enjoy. I mean, those who have lived in the East know what I'm talking about. Enugu or Owerri, 2 of those 2 places. But when it comes to business activities, if it comes to commercial, industrial, this thing, then you're talking about Onitsha and Aba. You find everybody wanting to go do trade, either go buy their supplies in either Onitsha or Aba, depending on what kind of the supplies that it is. Then when it comes to agriculture, to an extent Abia, but you see more of Ebonyi. I've been of the view, we keep crying that the federal government is not. You see this train that they put between Lagos and Ibadan, and then Kaduna to Abuja. You know the southeastern states can do it by themselves without the help of federal government. Connect a speed train from Aba Umuahia to Enugu, passing through Okigwe. Then you divert from the other way. The same train will move from Enugu to either Oka or Onitsha or Newi or whatever it is. And from there again, you reconnect the same train again back to somewhere in Imo State, and then it comes back again to Aba. You know what that will do for the economy of the Southeast? Do you know what that will do? Do you know that somebody can decide to say, you know what, I love the life in Enugu, but I'm a civil servant or I work in and in Umuahia, but I will live in my Enugu Jeje. Every morning I'll enter the train and go to either Umuahia, go and walk and go back to Enugu. And I don't see the synergy within these governors. Sometimes I ask myself, is it that these people don't sit down to talk among themselves? So I want us to open, so it doesn't look like since we're here, this is a good opportunity. I want us to talk. What do you, based on what I have just said, Odi, maybe we'll start from here, we'll go around that way. What do you see? How can we tap into that synergy and build a common economy among that hub?
Jim, let me start so that I can drop. This is a very important question, but like where I live in Germany, it's called Bundesbahn. Bundesbahn means federal rail. Are you talking about rail, or are you talking about tram? Are you talking about city train, metro line? Or are you talking about rail that can carry, wagons, that's containers, intercities train? So because if you talk about rail, really rail, that can carry, dual carriage rail system that can carry.
Let me help you so that you don't waste time. Let me help you.
Yeah.
I'm not talking about goods and services train. No. I'm talking about speed train that can make life easy. Those ones have a way of imputing the economy in an unseen way. Let me explain to you what I mean. So I live in Calgary. In Calgary here we have, right now it's supposed to be 3, but we have 2. There's what we call the red line. Then we have what we call the blue line. And then the green line is coming on stream. You know what these things do for you? If you see the fast nature, do you know how many people don't drive cars in this city? They have cars, but they don't drive it. In fact, for 2.5 years, I didn't drive my car. Why? Because I was living very close to the train. I hop on the train, I go to school. I hop on the train, I go back home. I only use my car to go and do grocery or go to church. And that car was underused for 2 years that I was going to school. Underused. But what I'm saying is this. If you have that kind of a system that helps open up the economy, we will come back to the goods and services rail. That one is a different one altogether. I'm saying something that can make the guy in Enugu, he can hop and go to Aba in one day. In fact, he can go to Aba 2 times in a day for go and transact businesses. Not carrying goods. I'm talking about go discuss or somebody who wants to go have a good time. People want to go.
All right.
It's happening in a way, and you feel like you want to go to that already. And this thing is running. South Africans, when they were going to host the World Cup, they did that. They created that kind of hub.
Jim, you can only do this in a confederation. Like if we have regional government or confederation, like a ban. Rail, that this race you are talking about is owned by the federal government. I think anywhere, even in the UK where I lived before, you have all those.
Where I live is owned by the city.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Because that's what I'm saying. You live in a federation, a federal system. Nigeria has no federal system. That's where it can work. You live in a country that maintains federalism. The true federalism is working. If you live in Quebec, if you live in Toronto, anywhere you live, the government, the mayor can decide the kind of transportation that is suitable for his or her city. Not like Nigeria. This thing you are saying now is impossible for Imo state governor or let's say Igbo state governors to do because they don't have the power. That system is under.
No, that's not true. Lagos State has put up.
Excuse me. Lagos State is a mono. Lagos State is that metro. It's not a train. It's the metro. That's why I'm asking you. Are you talking about tram? Are you talking about metro? If you're talking about train,
wait. In Nigeria, before now, we have a bank called Bank of the North. It was held together by the northern state governments. All the states put together, they own it. They contribute the fund to run it. Kaduna Polytechnic was one of those schools that was also built by that effort, and many other businesses like that. So what Chim is saying is, we speak one language. How come, be it that even the governors cannot sit together and initiate a project that can run within those states, and be able to increase the commercial value of the state. That's what he's saying.
Exactly.
It doesn't have anything to do with whether they are running a perfect federal system or not. Didn't we make the way to Maradi in Niger?
Yeah, but excuse me,
it's part of Nigeria.
But that rare system is on exclusive list. That's why I'm asking you. If it's like tram, city train, it is possible. But if it's intercity, connecting state to states, it is on exclusive list. That means the federal government must give you approval for you to do that, or the federal government must do it. That's why they do Lagos, Ibadan, Abuja, Kaduna. That is a federal government project. State cannot even build it.
Mazi, I still differ slightly with you because I think if the states really want to do it, let me buy your view that it's on an exclusive federal list. The governors can go approach the federal government and say, okay, listen, we want to improve our economy. We want to link our economy. This is at no cost to you, federal government. We have the resources to pull this together and accomplish it. I think the federal government will not say no.
Anyway, but Chim, remember that when we finished building our airport in Imo State, I'm from Imo State. They refused to even commission the airport. So even they refused to call it airport until it's called cargo. The same thing in Enugu State. The same thing in Anambra State.
It's called an airport.
So it's the same thing. So what I'm trying to tell you, make some research. Honestly, that project belongs to the federal government, and federal government will not allow you to do it. Thank you.
Yes, OG, then CM, please.
Yeah, hello. So I know Abia State, Alex Otis government has such projects, on their horizon, on their plan actually. I think I've seen a little bit of that. Personally, I did oppose it to some close people. For the reason
you opposed it.
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah. So I'll give you my reason. I want to use this opportunity. There's something that I like to say also about. There's this guy that came here, Obereri Nemeka. He spoke very well, and his discussion was mostly in line with what you're saying. How do we emancipate ourselves as a people? Because the truth is, after this Gaza war, this Christian genocide thing, my view about Nigeria has been changing a little bit. I'm seeing that the people that, ndị Igbo si na nnata na abụghị na obi gị na abụm n'anya,
yes.
decided to see things maybe a little differently, because we have to be very intelligent about who we are and what we stand for. And the truth is, the idea of Nigeria, we have to really look at it closely, because the people that we are dealing with don't really like us and they don't want us. And, we have to find a way to survive and develop ourselves, Even the people that we are shouting Christian genocide for, they don't like us a lot, It's very hard to say this. If you look at the bulk of the people who fought in the Nigerian army, it's all of them, right? It's very hard to say this, but we are the champions now. Even they said there's somebody in Onitsha that's concocted the Christian genocide arrangement. But, we give them space. See, when you see that one that calls himself pastor, when he comes to talk here, you can see the hatred that he has for our people. The point, about the, how do you unify the economy of Alibo and make us progress? One of the, and where I stood to oppose that railway thing. It's about the project. You know, the infrastructure we have has decayed. You know, if you look at what Alex Soti did, you know, the road that is building from essentially Umuahia going through Abriba or Hafia that goes to Arochukwu. If you see how it has connected these communities, if you drive from Abam to Arochukwu, you know, these are communities that have been abandoned. I went to Arochukwu, I think last year or 2 years ago. I had to go to Akwa Ibom. You know, the way you go from Abam, then you drive through Zoakoli, then you go to Abam, to Akwa Ibom, then return to. We don't have to do that anymore. And the only good portions of those roads were the one in Akwa Ibom. The story has changed. The people in Abam can now come to trade in Umuahia easily. So what I'm saying is that and this is what Alex Soti is doing, which is what I like. The governor should focus on developing our roads first. You know, if you allow these guys to go and engage in railway projects, all of them go chop money and they will never do it. You know, there's a problem with our people. But you see, that basic road that they are doing, if you look at what Hope is doing in Imo State, that road was my road, like, you know, from 7.5 to Imo State is dual carriage. From there, throughout Mbise to Owerri. It's fantastic road. All the people from Mobo throughout to Owerri, they're completely connected.
Hold on, but that road is not a state road. That's a federal road.
I know. It comes to what the other guy was saying, Mazi Okbara. So even the federal roads is easy. Let's say we want to do the railway.
The point I'm making it is not Imo State government doing that road.
No. It's Imo State government that is doing the road.
No. I know about that road. That's not an Imo State project. That's
okay, no problem. You got. I know it's set.
Hold on. That Fashion's Ministry of Works started that project and handed it over to the next Minister of Works. It has nothing to do with Imo State.
Look, okay, maybe I'm wrong, but I'm just saying that road has been done. Okay, well, someone who knows about it can. I know it's the same guys that are doing the road. The same people that worked on Abriba Umuahia Road. You know, the same company. But anyway, what I'm saying, however, whoever did it, I'm just saying, if you look at how those communities are coming, Alibo is very small. It doesn't take from Abriba to Umuahia, it's like 35 minutes. From, you know, if somebody that is from Uzuakole should not be living in Umuahia, even up at this time now, you don't need a railway, you don't need anything. You just get on the road within 10 minutes, you're 5 minutes, 7 minutes, you're in Umuahia. You know, however and there is, because it's good road, you know, there's less criminality, you know, on the road, because so what I'm saying is there has to be and then I tried to go to Etiti from 7.5. Road is completely gone. You can't drive through that road. It's very bad. So imagine if we can connect each other, you know, Okwa, you can connect Okwa to Okwa to Enugu. It won't be a long distance. So let them focus on the roads, high quality roads, because these are high quality roads that this guys built. Both the one going to Imo State and the one in Abia State that Alex is doing. We can develop a lot of things. You know, people like Obereri, they are doing a lot of things already in Abia, in Alibo. And I think these are the things we can focus on. Let's say Igbo man doesn't get the presidency in 27. What we can actually bargain for or fight for, I've always said this, is to fight to get that, whether it's Akwa Ibom deep seaport or the one that Alex is trying to do in Azumiri there or somewhere, or whether it's the River State one, or at least make the Warri functional and try to get us an airport where we don't have to go to Lagos. My brother, if we can do this, even these guys controlling power, Buhari ruled for 8 years. How did he benefit his people? Tinubu now, you know, look at what's going on in Kwara. So what I'm saying is, yes, if we get to the point that we need monorail or speed rail, I think we'll go there. I'll tell you, I will conclude by saying this. The last time I went to Houston, I was just looking at these highways. I was like, these people are crazy. They chose another path, from what is going on in Europe and probably in Canada and China. They just decided not to build railways. They have one or two. It's just highways. But the highways are so good that you can get from point A to point B very easily. And it did not affect their economy in any significant way. Well, their economy is blossoming. I think the economy of Texas alone is bigger than that of Russia and many European countries, probably even maybe including the UK, and Canada, So what I'm saying is you can still have roads and you drive cars and it will still be sufficient for your economy instead of going through the railways, paths that you were talking about. Thank you.
Okay. Odi, thank you very much. Before I come to CM, let me, if you know sufficiently the economic history of the US, you will know that there is a selfish capitalist reason behind not having a lot of rail in North America. And this is influenced by the automobile industry, the Fords, the Chryslers of this world. They are the ones who have resisted allowing the US have that kind of. For instance, why shouldn't I have a good train that can take me from where I live to anywhere in the US if I want to? It's doable, but they don't want that because that will kill the automobile industry. Now, but Alibo is small. Let's be honest. Our land mass is small. I'm not saying it has to be rail by force, by fire. What I'm just simply saying is, why can't this go? I don't see a common economic agenda that, listen, I am ABGA. I have won election. Elections are over. This is time to do what? To govern. And then in governance, I don't care who the counterpart in Abia State is, what party he represents. What we're here to do is, what can we do that will help our economy have synergy? That's all I'm talking about.
I must say good night from here because I'm still having some problems sleeping and the time differences.
No problem, sir.
Yeah.
Thanks for coming, my brother.
But the name of the police guy is Aderemi Adioye. Aderemi Adioye. Okay. Yeah. And here is minus 10. Celsius, not Fahrenheit. Minus 10. Thank you. Good night from here.
Good night, sir.
Good night. Well, stay away from ice. Okay. Stay away from ice. Don't go for protest. So, well, Tim, look, I get your point, and it's well taken. What I'm saying is, it hasn't affected the economy of the United States in any, significant way. Making people buy cars also has advantage of what it does for the economy. If you look at that, it's just, let's say Innocent is making vehicles in the East and we are buying them for our parents, for ourselves and all that. It's not a bad thing, and you have people working there, and Innocent is doing investment and develop. Giving Ford and the other guys money in the United States is not a bad thing. When they almost collapsed and Obama had to give them, that was what really saved Obama's government, by giving money to those car companies. America has found a way to make everybody like driving cars. Even the Chinese and all that. The Chinese EV revolution, they're not cars. They still, even if you have, you still have train, people still buy cars and still drive them. So what I'm saying is that in Alibo, we just need roads, my brother. Just look at what happened to Port Harcourt Road. Just the small Port Harcourt that Alex did. See what he has done to our people. The man is seen like a demigod, and rightly so. Just, do you know how many roads that Sam Bakwe did? We just need people to come and resurface them and allow our children to see what we used to see, when we were, children. So let's let the governors focus on those basic infrastructure, which some of them are trying. And we'll come to, it's like Alex talking about airports and talking about all those things. Me, personally, I'm against those things, because we have an airport in Owerri, well, in Ngokbala, which, he's already dualizing the road between that Umuekea to the airport. So if you can get a dual carriage from there, then going to Aba from the airport will be less than 30 minutes. Most of us, when you get off an airport, you still drive 30 minutes to your home, which is okay. So focusing on the problem we have in the East, in our major highways, is the security agencies. I went from Umuahia to Enugu. You meet nothing less than maybe 40 checkpoints. It's madness. The problem you have is, so they need to, this are where, the leaders can come in and say, no, we need to reduce this. I feel comfortable with them being on the road. At least there won't be too much. But this is craziness. You can't drive, like sometimes you can, within your own vision, you can see 4 checkpoints. How can that be? Which place does this happen? What are they protecting people from?
Okay, CM.
Yeah, Jim, thank you very much. Yes, I hope, am I coming out clear? Let me make sure.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay, now, thank you very much for this topic. I have argued this, just like you said, not just comparative advantage, there's also competitive advantage. So the Southeast should key in. The thing is this, if you look at this real issue from the point of view of a state, individual state effort, it might appear defeatist. I have argued, I told Rudolph, said you should bring in this chap from Anambra State. I mean, there is this thing they created, Development Commission, just like Southeast Economic Development Commission, Southwest Economic Development, Northeast, Northwest, North Central, South. They've all gotten it for six geopolitical zones. The essence of those development commission, in this case, Southeast Economic Development Commission, is for the states that makes up the development commission to look inwards and see what infrastructural benefit, what infrastructural undertaking will be beneficial to all of them. This is where I suggest rail, and this is how it should go. First of all, let me state this. Rail, because I live in UK, and by extension, Europe, rail system is the most economic, safest, and the cheapest means of transport ever discovered by man. Is the safest, is the most economic, and is the cheapest ever discovered by man. Nigeria is underconnected with rail. So you coming to the Southeast because that's where we are coming from. So I propose, I said the chairman of, or the director, or what do they call them? Maybe let's say the executive director of Southeast Economic Development Commission. One chap, I've forgotten the name, somebody, I forgot, but it's from Anambra State. I mooted to Dr. Damages to bring him here. Let us propose that. The Southeast Economic Development Commission should be a one agenda development commission. Rail. How to connect the entire Southeast with rail. By the way, rail is no longer exclusive. States can undertake it. It's now concurrent. Let me point out. So to that, I propose a rail that will take off from Abakaliki, that will connect the five state capitals and the important cities. That is to say, from Abakaliki, it moves straight to Enugu. From Enugu down to Oka, and that is 3 state capitals now. From Oka to Onitsha, because of the economic importance of Onitsha, and then the Niger Bridge. Then from Onitsha to Nnewi, again, because of the industrial conurbation that it will spring up, if not to improve on what is happening now. Then from Nnewi to Owerri, another state capital. From Owerri to Aba, because of the business emporium that is there, it's not the capital. Then from Aba to Umuahia, another state capital. Then from Umuahia, it will go like a loop through Afikpo. That will be an opportunity for Afikpo, and then back to Abakaliki. So it will be a loop. Now, the Southeast Economic Development Commission will not embark on anything except rail. After this will be the first phase. Then the second phase will now be, how do you connect Owerri to Okigwe? How do you connect Okigwe down to Nnewi? How do you connect Afikpo maybe down to Ozuakoli? Or how do you connect Arochukwu down to Aba? So those ones will now be the phase. It might take the next 20, 30 years, but this is where we start. And that should be the mission, the sole aim of Southeast Economic Development Commission. Yes, roads are good, but let it be according to states. Like one Africa was saying, yes, every state, like I think that's what they started. Soludo started from Oka to the boundary between Anambra and Imo State, which is Oga. Then to Akokwa, it will stop somewhere around that boundary. Then Hope Uzodinma took it from that Akokwa to Olu, from Olu down to Owerri. Then they will do it like this to connect, and the road will also be there. But the rail, we need it. One, for economic activity, commercial first, so that we can move goods in large quantity, and then that road that they are constructing, the pressure on roads will be reduced. You can't be talking of carrying trailer load of, let's say you cultivate rice somewhere in Abakaliki and you want to sell it in Onitsha. If there is no rail, all you need to do is you go and get a 911, what they call Gwongolo or 911, load it there. Everybody will be struggling for the road from Abakaliki down to Nnewi or Onitsha, Ekulobia. No, but if you have a rail, you load it there. And then the good thing about rail, from what I've gathered in the UK, is that rail that carry passengers run during the day mostly. When it gets to 11, they are winding down. Between 11:30 or 12 till 4 a.m., that is when the one that carry mail, like Royal Mail, the one that carry letters or parcels, and the one that carry agricultural produce from one city, one area to the other. Imagine the rail when you wake up 2 a.m. If you are close to the rail line, somewhere between Enugu and Abakaliki, you see speed rail moving from Abakaliki is going to deliver some goods at Onitsha. Early in the morning, people will buy it. So it will, I mean, you need to live in UK or Europe to appreciate the importance of rail. That is the catalyst for economic development. It is economical, it is safe, and it is very, very cheap. It is very, very cheap. It does not require so much of the wagon you are using. It doesn't get wear and tear like all these things are doing. So we need it. But the vehicle to deliver it should not be state government. It should be Southeast Economic Development Commission, one item economic. They should not think of anything. Whatever budget they have should be real. It does not matter how long it takes. The reason why I have to suggest this is that so that there will be minimal corruption. You don't know, not tomorrow now you hear that Southeast Economic Development are giving scholarship, they are giving fertilizer, they start to duplicate what state governments are doing and then start to embezzle money. No, let's leave real to them that this is what they should do. Even if somebody is donating money to them or whatever budget, let's start with 5 state capitals connected together with Onitsha, Nnewi, and the Aba and the Afikpo as maybe important towns that we go through the loop. Then subsequent ones, phases will now be how to, connect other lesser economically important towns or cities, and then people will now move. So it is good. I like that. It is competitive and it's also comparative advantage that the East we have over other regions. Let me stop here. Thank you.
Waste time. I'll just give my KJ the anchor. if you will be the last person today, on this topic.
Okay. I'm just going to ask you, Chim, how long do you intend to go? Because your 3 hours has exhausted.
Let's add 30 minutes, 3 hours, 30 minutes, and we'll call it a day.
Okay. All right. I agree with you, with CM. Remember that the Southeast Development Commission was what was we asked from the federal government, and just to be sure that it's not only able to get it, it's to create other commissions. And Nigeria is a very funny place. Anyway, I wish that they will accept to do what CM have said, because if they take it as a project, a singular project only, and get the technical know-how, and then the counterpart funding from each state, I think it will be one of the best things that we, legacy and lasting project that will not only unite the Southeast, but also help to move economic activities to a very large extent. Unfortunately, we are dealing with a leadership that don't, majority of leadership in Nigeria don't care. They want to have a lot of money so that they can buy Rolls Royce and drive around and buy all the latest automobiles, and then take their children for holidays. And when their children are coming back, we'll come and gather and be clapping for them. I remember, growing up, there used to be a very businessman. I don't know if Chief remember him. I hear he was the part owner of Dunlop. He comes from my place, Dunlop mattress. Once I was in the community when the children came back, and the whole village was torn apart, and I was asking, what's going on? They say, oh,
what's his name? What's his name?
He became Eze. Hi. I remember his name. Onye Lohom.
Okay, I know who you're talking about.
You know him? Okay. So I was asking him, what's happening? He said, oh, that man has come back. So when he comes back, everybody go to greet him. So you expect me to go and greet him? Hey, yes, now join us. Let's go and greet him. I said, for where? But why am I saying that? I'm saying that to say that some of such people or those kind of projects will work well if we have a means to move it, because he was the owner of that, but majority of the people in my community didn't enjoy his product because it was sold to people in Lagos and other places, whereas some people in my community were still sleeping without mattress, but even though the man owns part of that mattress. So what am I trying to say? Ogadimma, if our people, our leaders, those who are leading us now, because we know that we have very few leaders in the East, one of which is Alex Oti, and Enyinnaya Baribe. Those are leaders we know. If they can be able to put together that commission and give it a singular project to do, and everybody's hands on deck, we can deliver it. I also like what One Africa said. If I was Abia State Governor, I will not embark on airports. Let's use Samba Quest Airport. Let us use the one in Port Harcourt. If you are closer the other way or you're this way. Now that the simpler reason, because those airports are close enough for us to be able to use them, and the airport that it will help it generate a lot of traffic, so it will make it more important. Then I will concentrate on that seaport. Very important, trying to bring the sea into all the way, because up till now, even I see some people making comment that there's no sea, there's no way we can create a seaport in the East. You guys are liars, There is a seaport even deeper than the one you have in Lagos in the East, but those kind of things are not taught, and so people don't know it. No amount of division. See, that's the reason why sometimes when we talk about the East, they quickly run and go and tell you. So if you're talking about East, which part is the East? If you're going to go away with as Biafra, what will you go away with? Cutting away the land mass of the East and adding to other states will not make them become part of those states. It's only a question of time. And those who decide not to go with the Southeast, it is also good. Let them remain where they want to remain. We're not, look, we are people sufficient by ourselves. If you doubt me, go and read the history of the Civil War, the 3 years that the war was fought. So we're people sufficient in ourselves, and we'll be able to hold our side any day. If no grigo, go lose. However, there will be a time if eventually this thing that is obviously going to come will come. When that thing come, when no grigo, at the time when no one come go, when I go pay us money, it will not longer be free. We will charge you for trying to join and put conditions. But as it is now, should I say I see Biafra very soon? I see it coming.
I do. You are not alone. You are not.
I see it coming.
You are not alone. You are not alone.
Coming. Because since Nigeria has come to a point where a certain group of people will tell you, this thing you are talking it cannot be discussed. It's sacrosanct. And then somebody will tell you that the chairman of INEC is not acceptable to them because he's a Christian. So the rest of us will be Olodo now, who will accept now all this while. Okay. So since it's sounding this way, it is simply means that on your tent or Israel, everybody should start going to their tent. And once it gets to that point, there's no going back. So that will be my final comment. You know, we are more than we think we are. If we work together, if we put our heads together, I agree with totally what Nnamdi Kanu said. He said that you people think the East is looking for oil. We're not looking. It's not oil. What's going to drive the Biafra, state or nation, as it were, it's going to be ideas. It's ideas that is driving Malaysia. It's not oil. You know, and the people who refuse to think, I don't know what the future will be. You must have to think, and that's what Nigeria become. You know, you carry a man who is almost, 90 years old, and he says he's your president, and all he's doing now is become international tourist. You know, he has visited over 43 countries since he became president. So
it's an exhibit.
What else what do you want him to do? You gave him the retirement package, and he's enjoying it. You bought a new plane for him. He bought a yacht. The other day I wanted to ask him a question: where is the yacht now? Because I have not seen him inside the river. He has not gone to any conference where they have to hold it in a ship. So where is the yacht? Okay, what is the rest of the fleet of airlines we have under the presidential air fleet? What are they doing? What are their functions? These are a lot of things that we need to ask. And then why do we keep buying Escalade? Did you see the Escalade that this man drives? And here he has 5 of them.
So, KJ, for time's sake, so that we don't...
Oh, no, so I've added up, my brother. I don't have anything to
add. All right. Jefferson, quickly so that we can go to Ife and then shut down for the night.
All right. You guys can hear me, right? Okay, so what you asked me, how can the Southeast be a uniting force? It's a very nice question. All right, we'll start from the basics, right? One of Chim mentioned about Southeast Development Commission. Of course, it was done for the collective cause. We have the Ohanes in Igbo, but let me not make it complicated. I will concentrate on the Southeast Development Commission. So, each of these state government in the Southeast, they have their own function. They have what they are doing. So, and if in the construct of Nigeria, it has been more or less been an individualistic affair. So, trying to survive as a nation, to sustain the state. So I'm not saying they are not planning to do something together. At least in a way they are doing that. But I think the Southeastern governments, what they need to do now is to find a way to, I think the most important thing they need to really do first as a state is to enhance work on the infrastructure and security, because what's the point on building the roads are good, the lights, all these infrastructure, they're all good. But what's the sense of having us if your region is not secured? You know, we need to have like a security network that will be that will actually oversee all that will secure obviously our investment, our land, property, everything, you name it. Because with the way things are going in the country, we don't want a situation whereby you know, our region gets overrun, and it's a very, very big risk. You see, the security will help to give people a sense of bringing in more investment, right? Though the investment, though that is still actually happening, and it will actually put a lot of checks and balances. So it will, and you see, it's going to bring in more economic, more inflow into economic investment. Because if you look very carefully, what makes the likes of Lagos very, 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 very lucrative? They say, oh, Lagos is, of course, we know the metrics. It was once federal capital territory. It now became the financial hub. You name it. People all over the world knows Lagos as a prime city. So for us to have that within the Southeast, we need to boost up our security, make sure that foreign investors can come in and be safe, to put in more infrastructural development, you know, reduce all this kidnapping and all that stuff. That needs to go down. Then, of course, the security will be useless too, because everything works together, right? The electrification is very, very key. Then we also need a collective drainage system. You see, how can this come about? Each state government, when they are building their roads, they have their layout of drainages. All these drainages are supposed to be interconnected. Unfortunately, if you look at the framework of most of the state government, they are not thinking collectively of that. And in a situation where you don't think collectively in this, you cannot really have a sustainable region. Don't get me wrong, Nigeria has failed. Let me give you a practical example. If you could remember, I know somewhere, I think it should be somewhere in Taraba. When look at it this way. So that's why I said each region needs to, everyone needs to sit up. You know, I think it was Cameroon. I don't know if it's Cameroon, when they warned the Nigerian Meteorological Agency that, look, I want to open my dam. So, of course, you know, unfortunately, because of the carelessness of our nation, they didn't take all those information very serious at the time. So the Cameroonian government, they didn't hesitate. They were like, okay, since we are not taking this thing serious, we can't wait. Our area is going to be flooded off. So we have to open up the dam. They opened it, and part of the River Niger, the tributaries, all the rivers flew. And then some place of Niger State was flooded, some place of Benin was flooded, some places in Rivers, Imo, Anambra, some of these areas were flooded. You know, if you could remember, and this is because there was lack of infrastructural collective, there was lack of planning in terms of our framework. And of course, after that time till now, we have not heard anything. So it just tells me that we are missing the piece of the puzzle. But of course, this is something that still needs to be looked into in the future. You know, so that is the thing. It's good. In as much as we want to plan for our region, we also have to consider our neighbors and everything. But I wish I could talk about that, but I don't want to delve into that information. So what basically, in whatever we are planning now, the infrastructure has to be collective. The drainage system has to be collective. The power infrastructure also has to be collective in such a way that whatever they are building can be interconnected, you know, and that will bring a strong united force. then for each of the state governments, they need to bring out money, resources. They need to find a way to be more viable, bring out resources that is being monitored by, and have within the South. If you look very carefully, the Southeast Development Commission is supposed to be a very powerful force, but it has been narrowed down towards it just being a mere commission, which is not supposed to be so. Well, but we all know that for it to be very, very powerful, a lot of things will come into play, which has to when you talk about the restructuring and all of that. But notwithstanding, we must do what works for our region. Because last I checked,
can you round up in 1 minute? I don't want us to go past.
But last I checked, the Southwest, the Southwest is doing what's work for them. Every other region is doing what's work for them. We have our strengths. Of course, we are very good in trade. We don't really need to stress much on that. But we can take our trades to the next level, right? So we look into all those industries that are lacking. If you remember, in Abia State, they are working on the textile industry. So if you watch very, very careful, whatever we are doing, we must make sure we have a complete ecosystem. Like in the textile, we meant to understand that we have what do you call it?
We have 9 minutes to go. So I want Ify to say something before we leave, please.
I'll soon round up, please. I'll soon round up. So within the ecosystem, right? Within the ecosystem for the textile industry that Abia State is working on, they have where they are producing their fabrics. Like they have where they are making their clothes and wares. But now they are building a manufacturing industry where they actually produce these fabrics, of which, of course, they can always source the cotton and all these things from elsewhere. So, in conclusion, I wish because I don't have much time, I'm just trying to paint a picture here. The conclusion of the matter is this: we should just try as much as possible to make sure that we build an integrated ecosystem industries that will be sustainable within the region, Nigeria, Africa, and all over the world, and make us a strong force. I'm going to stop here for now.
Okay, thank you very much. Ify, do you want to say something?
I don't have much to say because I know our leaders, they know what to do, but they've chosen not to do it. So, no matter what I say here, it's not going to make any difference. They purposely know what they're doing. Because they travel outside the country and see the development in other countries. Why can't you bring it to Nigeria? Nigeria still remains the richest country in the whole world. But due to corruption in our country, our leaders, they've chosen to, just steal the money and invest it in other countries. So, honestly, I don't know what to say. Sometimes you just feel like, how did I even end up being in Nigeria? Sometimes I ask myself that question. But hey, here we are.
Okay, so in conclusion, I went to Abia State University.
Chim, can I just say something real quickly? Because people have mentioned, Southeast Development Commission. See, these guys are very intelligent. That name sounds so good. That's just an SPV for APC people to chop money. Stop, if you don't, it's for the boys. The idea, you people, they will do, you people are trying, don't put any hope on this is for 2027 election. If you know that, then you know peace. And I don't think Abia State has any fabric, plan or anything, but go ahead.
All right. So maybe I'm just a dreamer, but I don't want to die without having the capacity to dream. I see a lot that can happen in the Southeast. I'm not talking Nigeria right now. I've stopped talking Nigeria. I'm clearly talking about Alibo. Listen, if I'm the governor of Abia State, Alex Otu is doing very well, is to reach out to one of these other ones that I think I can have a collaboration with this. Listen, let's do something that's going to help both of our states. I see a lot of things that we take for granted that if government so listen, I live here in Calgary. Calgary has a rail system that I bet you homes or properties close to that rail system are very expensive. You know why? That rail, the red line runs into downtown. The blue line runs into downtown. So if you walk in downtown, you don't have to drive. You have successfully run away from parking tickets. Just enter the train, it takes you, and this train cuts across two of the major institutions, higher institutions in this city, the University of Calgary and the Polytechnic in Calgary called Southern Alberta Institute of Technology, which I went to. That just runs right. So imagine you as a student going to SAIT, which is what it's called. You just run right into the city, come down and get into your classroom. You come out, you run into the train and go home. Ditto, University of Calgary. Though it doesn't run straight into the university, it runs on the major road that is right next to the university, and there is a pedestrian walk across the highway that takes you into the university. And you see how this thing makes people's life easy. CEOs of major infrastructures and organizations in this city don't even drive their cars. You see them in the morning on that train going to work. If you know, governments have changed in this city, but that project never dies. We used to have a liberal government that came and built I think they built both the red and the blue line. Now we have a conservative government that has continued that project and is building what they call the green line. And this thing connects the entire city. So I think my point is, I don't know why it is that something good has to be that I don't need to share the same political views with KJ, but I should be able to see that even though I don't share the same political views with him, I can see the dream he had for this state. He started a project, he didn't finish it. Let me come and I will continue from where he stopped. Why is that a big deal? That's practically how this US all around works. You understand? They compete among themselves to who goes into office, Republican or Democrat. But the moment somebody goes in there, any project that is of the people that the other one started, he will continue with it. He might add his own slant to it, but he will accomplish it. And at the end of the day, the people benefit from it. So I just think there is a lot that can be done amongst the states while we wait for the day, if we're still part of Nigeria, when we will have a responsible government that is fair to everybody and is not coming to say you're an Igbo or Yoruba man or whatever, where being Nigerian is enough. But for now that being Nigerian is not enough, we can start by doing things amongst ourselves that will push and help our economies grow. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Odi. Thank you, KJ, for setting up this thing. Originally, this was supposed to be for I Speak the Truth to come and tell us about Epstein's file, but he didn't show up. But I think it's not been a futile effort. We've discussed a lot of beautiful things this evening, and I really do appreciate it. CM, it was wonderful seeing you. Jefferson, thank you for showing up. And Ify, I also want to say thank you to you. So I wish all of you a wonderful evening, and I want you to enjoy your week, the rest of the weekend. And then hopefully tomorrow, by the grace of God, we will see if we will come and meet Professor Dinkalo and see what he has to offer us. But as we end, I want to play something. I hope.
What time is Chidi coming up tomorrow?
I'm not sure. KJ, do you know? Let's see this.
And that's why the conversation about Christian genocide has been on. It's as if there's a direct attack on ECWA churches. Goodness me, I don't know how many ECWA churches have been attacked. Conversation about balancing out the tickets. Those concerns are valid. But let me stretch it also further by asking you, will the North be cool with a Christian tickets?
This is how I'd learn AI in 2026 if I wanted a fresh start at 50. Watch this.
So this is how I became the most dangerous.
Okay, now 3 things. You asked one about attack on echo churches. You know, I take exception to generalizing the Muslims are arranging these things. It's not true. those kidnapping the churches or people in churches on the streets,
Mr. Farouk.
They do not represent Islam.
Mr. Farouk Ali,
but they do not.
Mr. Farouk Ali, with due respect, you need to apologize to me. Can you tell me anywhere I said just now that Muslims are arranging these things? I never said so. So when you say you take exceptions to what I didn't say, I deserve an apology because you misquoted me right in my phrase.
Okay. Okay. I apologize for that.
Very well.
But I also want you to, I apologize for that. But I also put it to you that these things are not, if anybody thinks Muslims are arranging these things, it's not true. It's got nothing to do with Muslims.
It's got nothing to do with Muslims. And
yes.
and I repeat, it's got nothing to do with Muslims. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Then secondly, whether the Muslims will be good, will be home with Christian ticket, well, let's wait until when we get to the bridge to see whether we can proceed.
No, I'm asking that question
Christian, because if you're listen to
me. Based on the north, all right. Based on the north,
based on the north,
would they be also be okay?
Based on the north, I know.
With the Christian tickets, yes.
Based on the north, Based on the north, I know the north will not be comfortable with Christian ticket, because if you do that, you are completely alienating the Muslims in the north.
All right, guys. With that, I want to wish you a happy Sunday. I'm happy you have it, so that by tomorrow when people come here to talk about some of these things, we have evidence. They want us to accept a Muslim ticket, but they will never be okay with the Christian.
Divide Nigeria, let everybody go their separate way.
For your question, tomorrow is 12:30.
Please,
12:30 in the afternoon.
Please, I want everybody to go home and reflect on this question I'm going to ask. In 1914, a white man joined Nigerians together, and people say it is an act of God. In 2026, another white man is planning to separate Nigeria. Why can't people take it as an act of God? That is the question.
All right. With that, I say good night to everybody.
Chim.
Thank you so much for